What's crack-a-lack? No, sorry, wrong stream. My bad. Are we live? Is this thing on? How you guys doing? Welcome to our Saturday edition of our locks, our DFS calls, our props, all that sheboing. If you guys got questions, we got you. To my left or right, the guy with the name Sleezball. That's my guy Sleezball. It's my co-host for every Saturday. And then to my right or left, the other guy, that's Bayoubengal. He's currently number 1 or 2 in the Drafters Fantasy Million 3. Everything that I stood against this offseason when it comes to fantasy football drafts is what he did, and he's absolutely fucking crushing it, and I'm jealous. Bengal, introduce yourself. Let the folks know where to find you. Sleazeball, you do the same right after he's done, and then we'll get into the first game of the slate.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Obviously, Bayoubengal Fantasy Network, aka Man Meat, aka it is what it is. We over here on YouTube, pretty much. That's pretty much where I stay. I don't do too much extra. I do post on some things, but we're over there rocking. Whether it's redraft, dynasty, you name it, best ball, we're doing pretty much everything over there. So, love to be a part of the show, man. Love to be here with Disco and Sleeve too. Sleeve. So, I'm ready to rock and roll, man.
Nice. Sleazeball, let the folks know.
We got the original trio back. What's up, everybody? I am Sleezball FF. I host My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football podcast show, YouTube, Twitter, everything. Do every single thing fantasy football. And I'm ready to dive into it here with the boys here.
Let's rock it. All right. Let's talk about the first game. So for every game, guys, we're going to talk about your absolute smash, the must start guy who's going to either perform at his ADP or outperform his ADP. This guy is a must start. We're going to talk about a must sit, and then we're going to talk about a tertiary option, so kind of like a sleeper. If anybody is going to be saying something that like one of us don't necessarily agree with, we're going to call each other out by saying, I need you to stand on business. And once you hear this video, hold up. What did you just say? I'm going to need you to stand on business. You then have a minute and 30 seconds to stand on business and defend your take. Without further ado, you guys ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do
Sir.
it.
All right, first game on the docket, and Bayoubengal, you'll go first. We got the Chicago Bears, who are actually 1-point dogs, coming into Indianapolis at 1 p.m. Eastern time. The over-under is 43.5. It's a very interesting matchup. Both teams need to get right. Bengal, first thoughts of this game, and then also who's a must start, who's a must sit, and a tertiary option.
Yeah, I think this game, I think the big storyline around it is Anthony Richardson needs to do something, right? It's 0-2 going against this rookie quarterback that hasn't looked very good in Caleb Williams. He's got to do something to show that he belongs at this point. I think even though it's a Bears defense, right, who it's as far as right now through 2 weeks is as far as fantasy points goes, ranks 8th, right? So they're very good at fantasy points against the quarterback. But Anthony Richardson got to shake all that off. He's got to be able to get in there and do something to provide that he belongs here. They ended up getting Josh Downs back from injury this week, so they have a plethora of weapons there. I know Michael Pittman is questionable as well, but he should be able to play as well. So he's got to get his weapons going. I think as of right now, if you're looking for maybe like the biggest bust of this game, I've got to go Caleb Williams again. I just think that, I don't know, he's making bad decisions. It's just he's not doing what he should be doing at this point. He's just, whether it's throwing 2 picks last week or it's just, I don't know if it's the pressure getting to him or whatever the case is. But I think he'll have a okay game. But I just think that overall you're not going to be happy with what he does. And if we're talking about, are we going through all? Do I go through my sleepers and everything for you? Is that what you want to do?
Everything, man.
Okay,
just say whatever you got to say, brother.
If I'm going like a sleeper pick as well, I've got to say Anthony Richardson at this point. He's not projected to really do great this week, but I think he's got to do it. If he wants to be where he wants to be and where he should be on his pedestal, I think this is the week he has to get it going. Having Josh Downs is definitely going to help him. I'm hoping Adonai Mitchell gets better as far as catching the ball. He's dropping way too many balls that I didn't see at the University of Texas. So now he's coming over here. He's dropping balls last week. He's like, what are you doing, guys? So I'm hoping he gets a little bit better. Michael Pittman should be rocking and rolling. They don't have man meat at this point, but they don't need him at this point. I don't know what it is. If we're going for an absolute stud, lock him, drop him, ready to rock him, I don't see anybody in this game. I'm just not going to lie to you. I mean, maybe Romo Dunze at this point. I think he's going to get a lot more involved, but I'm not really excited about anybody in this game. But I think the storyline has to be surrounded around Anthony Richardson and what he can provide for the Colts, and hopefully some fantasy relevance.
Yeah. It's definitely a very interesting take, and I like that. You're bringing definitely because Sleaze and I are in agreement for a lot of things. So the fact that you're bringing a different perspective definitely makes this conversation aspect, the way I'm approaching, my pick'ems, my DFS, my fantasy suggestions, it makes it a little bit more interesting. Sleaze, you're up, Buttercup. What you like, what you dislike, who's you fading, who's you hating? Talk to me.
This is the bounce back game for the Bears offense and Caleb Williams. This is like a fantasy pot of gold whenever you get the Indianapolis Colts defense. If you look at week 1, they can't stop the pass. You look at week 2, they can't stop the run. So I'm going Caleb Williams as a top 15 quarterback this week. I have DJ Moore as an absolute smash play with Keenan Allen out. And I'm waiting for the Roma Dunze breakout to happen, but for some reason it's on a little slow roll right now. And on the Colts side, I'm benching Anthony Richardson. I do not want to play him against the Bears D. If I had to take a lock pick him, one of my favorite ones would be an interception for sure. I think he's throwing 2 in this game. They're going to get after him on the front line, even though the Colts have a great offensive line. And Pittman's a bench for me as well. He's playing banged up with 2 injuries. I don't like him. Jalen Johnson will cover the left side of the field. My tertiary sleeper play here for the Colts that I love in DFS. So if you go back to last year when Josh Downs was with Anthony Richardson for the first 3 games, right? Or he got, hurt in game 3 or whatever it was. He had literally 24 targets over 3 games. He is his slot guy. He's who he looks at. Now he's back healthy. Should open up things for Pittman, but I don't like him banged up in this game. And I don't like Jonathan Taylor that much either in this game. I think the Bears front is nasty.
Okay. I like it. Shout out to everybody popping on in. Andre's here.
Smash the likes, chat. What's good?
Appreciate you guys. Hot Take City says your ads are starting to be racist. It's giving me Middle Eastern TV shows. Let's go. We've made it. Andre says, yo, what's up? Andre, need some help, boys. Looking for a wide receiver too. What can I get with a Higgins and Jaden Reed package? Ooh, interesting. Any of you want to answer that right now? Need some help, boys. Wide receiver too. What can I get with Higgins and Jaden Reed package?
I'm trying to go for Garrett Wilson.
I think Drake London's a good option. Garrett Wilson could be a good option if you want to. I just invested in an injured AJ Brown. You could also look at who else is like a Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle. Both should perform relatively well with my guy Skylar Thompson. I think Skylar Thompson looked relatively decent his last outing that we saw him. And then there's also Chris Olave, who has not performed whatsoever, and he might be a smash. But I also think those guys are both worth holding.
Yeah, I'd throw out that I'm trying to buy Jaden Reed as well.
Yeah, their value is so low right now. I mean, if you can somehow wait into your league until at least, Jordan Love's very close to coming back. I mean, he's already at the practice, whether it's limited or not. And, T. Higgins, he hasn't even played yet. So let him play a little bit. If they really blow up, then look to trade it. Because right now, the value is extremely low, man. At least wait a week or 2 if you can.
I love that you said that. This is a great opportunity and matchup for T. Higgins. T. Higgins was just like, first 2 weeks, kind of tough matchups. Don't want to play week 3 Washington Commanders. I'm ready. I can play football. Let's go do it. I would sell high after he smashes this week and everybody else on that receiving court absolutely smashes. So who do I like in this game between the Bears and the Colts? I want to say like my guy that, I wouldn't necessarily call him a tertiary option. I wouldn't necessarily call him a pay-up option. It's kind of a guy who just like everybody expected was going to be an absolute bust. But I'm looking at the matchups, and I think the matchups until the bye weeks is very nice. Is DeAndre Swift? I think DeAndre Swift is a great buy low option right now, and then right around the bye week, sell high because he just has a bunch of great matchups coming up, and this is on paper one of the best matchups in football. I don't think he's going to do it via receptions because the Colts don't really allow a lot of work via receptions. I also like DJ Moore. I think Roma Dunze is a good call. As for my tertiary option in this game, man, it's tough because Josh Downs is just coming back. I think this is a get right game for Michael Pittman. I think Anthony Richardson continues to struggle. I don't really have a tertiary option, but I think we're going to see these two teams outperform their first two performances offensively. I think the glue that the Colts need to keep everything together is Josh Downs. And with that being said, I think this offense is going to look a lot different with Joshua Downs there. Is there any pick'ems or props that you guys absolutely like? Because one that's screaming to me right now is Caleb Williams, 213.5 passing yards. I'm smashing the under there. I really like the under. And DeAndre Swift, 55.5 rushing yards. I love the over.
Yeah, there's 4 actually that I like from this game. And I think that Anthony Richardson over 192. I know it's Sleeze saying he wants to sit him, but he's been over 200 yards in both of his games, even though he's played like absolute cock-a-doodoo. I think he's going to be probably down in this game, is going to need to throw. He needs to use his arm. I think 192.5 the last I checked. I think that's really good. Caleb Williams, over 0.5 interceptions.
It's 197.5.
It's 197 now? Holy crap. It's just jumping everywhere. I think I got it like 180 something whenever I got in there. So that's awesome. And Michael Pittman under 19.5 for his longest reception. His longest reception is 13 yards this season. I think just Anthony Richards not pushing the ball down the field. When he does, it's going to be either a Donnie Mitchell, Alec Pierce, or maybe even a Josh Downs, but it's not really to Michael Pittman. I think that's a good smash. And then Gerald Everett, under 10.5, longest reception. He's got 4 targets all season with a long of 2 yards, including -1 yards last week. So Gerald Everett, under 10.5, longest reception. I think that's an absolute smash.
Okay. Sleep, go about yourself, buddy.
I mean, I'm looking at Josh Downs' 31 yards, and it's just screaming at me. Like, it seems too low. They use him on a lot of end arounds as well. He gets, both the receiving work and the rushing work sometimes. And if you're looking at his yards from when he's played, he's only been under that once all last year. No, never mind. Well, so 4 times, but again, that's Flacco. And then he was coming off injury, and he played 20% snaps. So, he had 2 times. When he's out there over 70%, he crushes it every time. Yeah. And you get the Bears D where they're strong at the X with Jalen Johnson, but they're weak versus the slot. This is why I like Josh Downs a lot in this game.
Yeah, but coming off of an injury, how much utilization, how much snap share do you think he's going to get in that game?
It's do or die for the Colts at 0-2, I think.
Yeah, and he had a full practice too. So
yeah, I think it's too early to say do or die, because if I'm looking at wide receivers in general, targets alone, wide receivers get targeted 18 times, but only come down with 10.5 receptions on a weekly basis so far against the Bears, and they faced better passing teams than the Colts. So it's tough. The ball, it's definitely tough. It's not a great matchup for Anthony Richardson. I'm not betting on his passing whatsoever, over or under, because
30 yards he could pass that in 1.
Yeah, well, like we said, something's got to give, and we'll see if it does. I got Mountain Dew fucking.
I got a question for y'all. If I locked in Anthony Richardson at 182.5 passing yards, would you guys be over on that, or are you not just touching?
I'd take the over. I'd take the over on that.
Yeah.
What's he averaging right now?
202 or something.
Yeah, it's over 200, like 204 or something like that. 202.
Okay, and the Bears allow 193.5 per game. So, I mean, it's definitely a good prop. I just don't like it.
I got you.
So, here's a question. If they go 0-3, are we going to hear Flacco talk here if they get blown out? And then Richardson looks bad again?
I think he's good. Unless, due to injury, I think there's no chance that Flacco takes his job.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out to everybody popping in. Mr. Magic says, yo, what's up, Mr. Magic? Playing Jennings over Juan Jennings over Akers. How do you feel about that?
I like Akers a lot.
Oh, I would play Juwan Jennings over Akers.
I like Juwan over Akers too. Can't trust any wide receiver on the Colts. Joshua Downs is the glue that brings that team together. I actually really like Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman's one of my buy low options right now too. I think it's Josh Downs being there, especially if he gets more touches, is the best thing for that. He's the glue that he's criminally underrated. He really is. Bears eat Colts, says Chef.
Vikings are also missing the number 1 run stopper in the NFL. He's out with injury. The Vikings.
Oh, okay. We'll get to that game. Moving on to another game that I don't really have.
I was talking about Cam Akers.
Oh, K-Makers. Gotcha. My bad. Yeah, another game that I don't really like, not fantasy-wise, DFS-wise, props-wise. Sleeves, will start with you this time. It's 1 p.m. Eastern time. Chargers are 2.5-point dogs coming into Pittsburgh. The over-under is 35 points. Tell us what you like.
Do I have to talk about this game?
Yeah.
This is going to be the under for every single receiver. I firmly believe that. I think this is going to be a run game where you see Dobbins and Gus both get 20 carries, and then you go to the Pittsburgh side, you're going to see 40 carries from Warren, Najee, and Fields, and it's going to be the props. I'm telling you right now, I'm taking both kickers for the 1.5. Tertiary play here, if I had to pick one, I guess you could say Pat Freiermuth, because we talked about his matchup, how plus it is this week. And all the injuries at tight end, you're probably starting him anyways if you have him. I mean, Jesus. And besides that, I don't like Fields. I don't like Herbert. I don't like Pickens. I don't like Quentin Johnston. I don't like anybody. Maybe Ladd for like 7 points on receptions, but this is going to be an ugly grunge fest game, and I think you're going to see Boswell and Dicker be the stars of this game.
Yeah, and like with Justin Herbert being up in there, that's a tough one. Bangle, what you got?
Herbert's out. It's wraps.
Yeah. This is an absolute trash game if you're targeting it for DFS. If you're charging it for fantasy, it's absolute trash. I mean, just look at the fantasy points allowed for both of these teams. Fantasy points allowed by quarterbacks. The Chargers rank number 1. The Steelers rank number 2. You got fantasy points for running backs. You got the Chargers ranking 9th and the Steelers ranking 5th. If you got the Chargers for wide receivers, they rank 2nd in the league. Steelers ranked 8th in the league. This is all fantasy points. So you're not going to get a lot. If you're looking at DFS, I'd probably say more Chargers defense. Probably the only thing I would look forward to. I just think Justin Fields is going to get overwhelmed completely. I think next week you start talking about Russell Wilson because it's going to be that bad for Justin Fields. But I would say that if anything, if you want to pull something from it, I say maybe it'd be the bust would be Justin Fields just because everybody's kind of all over it. But yeah, I don't want to look at anything from this game, man. I'm just completely just trying to erase it from my memory, to be honest with you, man.
You like Dobbins at all? That's a random question. Since he's popped off for 20 straight.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay, so I will say I had to dive really deep to find any sort of outlier type of props. The running back game I don't love, but there's a plus side in the receiving aspect for the running backs, in particular Jalen Warren. If we're looking at the Chargers, they give up the 4th most targets to the running back position. That's 8. And they give up the 4th most receptions to running backs on a weekly basis. That's 6.5. That's an outlier to me. And as Sleaze alluded to earlier, another outlier is the tight end position against the Chargers. There is 8.5 targets to the tight end position against the Chargers defense. So that's the 4th best opportunity this week. So Freiermuth or Darnell Washington. I can't believe we called Darnell Washington last week. That was so stupid. That it hits. It just shows how stupid Arthur Smith is. Like, I hate him. And then if we're talking about receiving receptions to the tight end position, they allow 6.5 receptions to the tight end position on a weekly basis. That's also 4th best opportunity. And then when we look at our drafters pick'ems, we'll talk about Jalen Warren. So it's 14.5 receiving yards. Absolutely love that for him. I think that's an easy lock. And then if we're talking about tight end, 2.5 receptions for Pat Freiermuth also seems like an absolute lock to me as well. Those are my 2 favorite locks. And sticking on the Jalen Warren train, especially PPR format, DFS wise, fantasy football wise, just all things considering, I like Jalen Warren as a low-end RB3 / fringe flex play this week. He's a good tertiary play. There's not necessarily a pay-up option that I'm interested in. I think something's got to give in this game, right? Because both teams have been so great against the pass. So I believe this is going to be a George Pickens game. Every week, I think he's an outlier. He's matchup-proof. Obviously, he got locked down last week against PS2. But this is probably, and it's not a great matchup for him, but it's probably the best matchup he's had all year. And I think we're going to see a little bit of an outlier game from George Pickens. George Pickens is an absolute smash play for me this week. Anything else that you guys wanted to talk about this game? Any props, pick'ems, locks, pops, drops?
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to say, man, I get frustrated with Jalen Warren because I just don't feel like Fields is using the guy. I mean, what is he averaging? Like 21 plays per game with 2 targets per game, almost for like, 10 yards or so? He's just not using them. I mean, he's so much better than what they're using him. It's just so freaking frustrating to me. But yeah, the biggest prop that I want to talk about is Justin Fields under 162.5 passing yards. Like I said, it's just I think that's an absolute smash. I don't think he gets even close to 160 yards passing, to be honest with you.
A couple deep balls to George Pickens might change your opinion there. And as for the Jalen Warren, a little bit of pushback. He was injured, so he was limited week 1, 31% of the snaps, 21. Week 2, that ramped up to 48%, 32 snaps. I think we might see a little bit more usage, and I think we're going to see them at a complete 50-50 split because we almost saw them at a 50-50 split. But Cordell Patterson's, still involved because I hate Arthur Smith and Arthur Smith hates us. Sleaze, what you got for us?
I mean, God, this is it. If I'm looking at pick'ems here, I wish I saw a 1.5 for Dicker, which he's at 6.5. I love Boswell 1.5. I think that's an absolute lock. He's been smashing as a kicker this year already. Their defense keeps them on the field. So many, time and time again on the other side of the field, they'll start in their own opponent's territory because the defense, he should see a ton of kicking opportunities. If there's something I like a lot that I had to pick from this game, I mean, it's either Pat Fryermuth's receptions or receiving, like we talked about. And for the Chargers, I'm struggling because J.K. Dobbins could get 56. I don't know if I like that or not.
One play.
I know. I like the Justin Fields longest rush at 13.5.
That's not a bad call. I like that call.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's catch up with the chat before we go to the next game.
Guys, before I go, if I had to pick one Charger, what would it be? Because I'm making a card of this, and I need a Charger. Do we like any of the receiving for Quentin or Ladd? 33?
Absolutely not.
I would pick Quentin Johnson just because he's been getting it. But am I confident in that pick? Absolutely not. But that's what I'd pick if I had to.
I mean, I would probably pair it with the DeAndre Swift rushing yards or the Anthony Richardson longest rush. Those, like, I'm not touching the Chargers there. There's not enough information. They've had two very weird matchups, and stylistically, this matchup is a tough one. Let's catch up with the chat. So, chat, we will catch up with you guys after we've all talked about the game. I'm shocked that nobody's really called anybody out yet. So shout outs to you guys. Mr. Magic says Alec Pierce has been solid. No, I did not have him as leading that team for receptions or receiving yards or receiving touchdowns. Very weird. What's up, boys? Hussein conundrums in the house. I got Hussein questions to ask you guys. We got the Hussein answers. All three of us are going to give you our best researched advice, buddy. I was just asking because I'm 0-2, rough start so far. We got you, brother. We're gonna try as much as we possibly can. Sometimes it's better to be patient. It has been a very weird year, especially receivers and quarterbacks. Just passing in general has been at an all-time low, which is very weird. You guys rock the three-headed goats right there at that. Disco Bayou Sleaze, Andrew, and with the Disco Bayou Sleaze, got a solid parlay for the weekend, please. We're working on it. Sleazeball, what's good, brother? Bang, bang, Niner gang. Let's get this one. Ooh, can't wait to get to that game. So my question in my home league, big money league, should I start for my wide receiver 3, Tank Dell or Jackson Smith in Jigba full PPR? So I'll go first. If we're talking about what team has a better opportunity, I think Houston has a better opportunity in game script. So I'm going to ride with Tank Dell, even though he hasn't shown us much. And Jackson Smith and Jigba looks like he's just warming up. Bangle, what you got there, buddy?
I would probably, if it was up to me, I mean, either one, I think you'll be fine with either one. But I think that the better matchup will definitely be from JSN, just because most of it's going to be locked down all these other wide receivers, right? You got, they're going against Miami, aren't they? Yeah, so they rank 7th in fantasy points allowed, right? So yeah, JSN isn't the main priority guy. That's going to be DK Metcalf. So you're going to get all these primary guys on here. Who's going to be in the slot most of the time? Well, it's either going to be Tyler Lockett or JSN, right? So JSN should be more safer, in my opinion. But either one, I think you'll be really good. I just think Nico Collins is stealing the show, and Stephon Diggs, I think, is going to have a pretty good game this week. And it seems like almost like Tank Dell's forgotten at this point. But again, it's only 2 weeks, but you can't go wrong either way.
Yeah. Good call. Sleazimus Decimus Meridius. You're up, Buttercup.
I'm going Tank Dell here. I'm going Tank Dell in an absolute plus matchup versus the Minnesota Vikings. Their defense, it does look good fantasy-wise on paper with the points they score, but the matchups are just a nightmare here, stopping everyone, and they're not going to be able to stop. I think Tank Dell is going to be the slot hero this week. And last week he dropped like 3 catches where he had a ton of yak yards he could have got when he stumbled on his feet, Week 1, he had 3 catches called back for a flag. Would have had 10 targets. So I mean, he's still Nico's guy. I'm not giving up on Tank though. I'm trying to buy him everywhere. Jay's season 1 boom game. Yeah, he looks good. I mean, you're playing Skylar Thompson. They could just pound the run here the whole way if he looks terrible, you know. So he's tough.
Mr. Magic says Baker is the QB1 right now, but should I play Jaden Daniels over him? Yes, Baker Mayfield is like my number 1 sit quarterback this week. Don't like the matchup stylistically for him. I still think he's going to get double figures fantasy points, but I don't think he's going to be a top 15, top 16 quarterback this week whatsoever. It's a tough matchup against Denver. I think Bo Nix outscores him this week. Last question for my home league is for my tight end situation. Should I start Pat Freiermuth or the backup tight end for the Jaguars? I like the matchup for Strange for the Jaguars this week against the Buffalo Bills. John Smith kind of ate against the Bills. Trey McBride kind of ate against the Bills. There's a vacancy there. Trevor Lawrence still passing like a fucking rookie for some fucking reason. He's going to his safety blanket, his little blankie. So I like Strange a little bit more than I like Pat Freiermuth this week. What about you, fellas?
I'm going Pat. I don't trust starting Strange, but I mean, if you're desperate, yeah.
Yeah, I like Strange myself. I feel like the punter will have more snaps than Justin Fields in this game. Like, it's going to be no offense. There's going to be it's 3 and outs left and right, man. So it's going to be hard.
I'm looking forward to George Pickens just absolutely being the wide receiver 1 this week.
I hope so.
I need it. I need it so bad. Bengal, you don't need it. Bengal, you're doing all right. You're doing all right. Okay. I'm so fucking jealous. All right. Since we got the guy who said my Saints are going to be fucking gangster. They're going to crush it. They're going to kick ass. Alvin Kamara is going to put up fucking godly fantasy football numbers. Derek Carr is going to be like a top 3 quarterback. Nobody saw it coming but Bayoubengal. So this game's for you. 1 p.m. Eastern time. The Eagles are actually 2.5 point dogs coming into New Orleans. The over under is, holy fuck, that's a lot of digits, Disco. The over under in that game is 49.5. I'll just edit that real quick. Take it away, Bengal.
Yeah, Derek Carr is actually my highest drafted quarterback, by the way, but that's just an afterthought. I think one of the biggest storylines that people may not realize is that Maddox is I think it might be their number 2 corner, because then they have Slay there at the other side. He got injured towards the end of the game in the Falcons, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about that. I think that could come up and pay huge dividends. This is going to be a great game, because everybody's looking at the names of Hurts and Saquon Barkley, what he's been able to do. Guys, let me just throw out some things for you guys, right? The New Orleans Saints right now ranked number 1 for fantasy points against quarterbacks. For fantasy points, number 1. They don't let nobody score any fantasy points. Now, Saquon Barkley is a little bit of a different guy. I get it. I get that. But he's going to be the biggest bust this week. And I hope not, because in my number 1 team on drafters, I have Saquon Barkley. So, it is what it is. But I just think it's not going to happen, right? If we're looking at a smash play, people are talking about Rashid Shaheed. Look at what he's been able to do earlier. But I'm not going Rashid Shaheed. I think this is the game that Chris Olave comes to town. I think Darius Slay's going to go over there and say, I'm going to roll over there on Rashid Shaheed because he's burning everybody. They don't have a secondary corner there. What do they have? C.J. Gardner-Johnson?
Quinyon Mitchell, first-round draft pick. He's absolutely tremendous. He's way better.
Quinyon Mitchell? Oh, yeah, he's fast as hell, too.
Slay's been the one who's been getting burned, but please carry on.
No, completely get that. I completely get it. I just think this is going to be Chris Olave's game. He's been very quiet the first 2 games. I think he's kind of pumping out his chest a little bit, going, you know what? I'm tired of this guy, Rashid Shaheed, getting all my work over there. I think he's going to have a monster game this week. And if I'm saying, if we're on a sleeper, this could be the week. Listen, hold on. I just want to make sure you guys hear me. This could be the week that A.T. Perry.
Oh, God.
A.T. Perry would go the sauce of ham. Okay, now unless he's another healthy scratch, and then just go ahead and just dub that from what we just did in the stream here. But this could be the week that I think is going to happen. It's going to be rock and roll. They got Tipton as the number 3 wide receiver right now. Cedric Wilson dealing with some injuries himself. I think A.T. Perry can come in here and just dominate this game. Watch, just wait and see, guys. I've got so much to talk about this game. You guys are going to have to tell me to shut up here in a minute. Derek Carr should go absolute bananas here. He should be doing his thing. I think Alvin Kamara is going to come in here, continue to be the main focal point of Clint Kubiak's offense. I'm telling you, I'm trying to preach this all offseason. Alvin Kamara will have a career year this year because all the offense runs through him. It doesn't run through Derek Carr. The good thing about why Derek Carr is having such success is because Alvin Kamara can run the football. He can catch the football. He can do everything. So They're not needing Derek Carr to go absolute ham sauce for this. We'll talk about our pick'ems here after you guys get all done. But again, I'm gonna get off my high horse here. I'm looking for Chris Olave to be a smash, Saquon Barkley to disappoint a lot of people, and A.T. Perry will be the guy in week 3.
I love it. I love it. He's still standing on business with the whole A.T. Perry thing, but like I before you go, Sleaze, like A.T. Perry's been like a healthy scratch. His snap shares has been absolutely atrocious. So, Bengal, hold up. What did you just say? I'm going to need you to stand on business. I mean, I love you. Look at the face. I mean, I love you. I'm grateful that we have you here on the show. But if we're talking about just wide receiver, like snaps in general, like there's nothing. There's no snaps, no opportunity.
He doesn't need them.
We've seen nothing. So you got a minute and a half. I don't think it's going to take that long, but please tell us why the hell are you so bullish this week on A.T. Perry?
If you look at the opportunities and what happens in offenses, when every time he's given the opportunity, we saw it the last week of last season, right? When he goes for 2 touchdowns. The thing is, there's too many injuries going on right now as far as the wide receiver room. And I think that Cedric Wilson will be good enough to be a go. But people don't know. A.T. Perry actually had a hand injury at the beginning, and they're just kind of resting him up, right? He's a big play guy. And right now against a Philadelphia Eagles team, I think they're going to need a big player or two, and they're going to not only look over from Rashid Shaheed or Chris Olave. They need a big 6'4" wide receiver who's got some nice, spectacular catch ability, and A.T. Perry to make a big play, guys. I'm not saying that he's going to go for 150 yards, but I'm saying you can possibly get at least a touchdown and maybe even 60 yards receiving out of A.T. Perry this week. They're going to go to the guy. They want him to be the 3rd wide receiver. This is the week that you see him do it. And if he gets healthy scratched again, just delete this portion of this shit.
Disregard. All right. Before we get to Sleezeball, shout out to my guy Farquad, one of my Canadian homies. I was looking forward to meeting you at the expo. Obviously, it didn't happen this year, but we'll definitely meet up. He says, "Big question, guys: ribeyes or New York strips?" Kidding. It's ribeye all day for me.
No.
Bengal.
Ribeye.
New York strip. Well done, dude. That's the best to go. New York strip is my favorite cut of meat.
I like ribeye.
Heard. All right, Sleazimus Decimus Meridius. He actually has a question, so we'll get to the question too. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Hey.
That was a fucking close-up. Okay, his question says, flex Akers or T. Higgins, standard scoring. Thanks, gents.
That's not even close.
Dude, I'm going Akers, man. I'm high on Akers this week. You got T. Higgins not playing. The matchup looks great. I don't care. I want the volume. I want the high-powered offense. I want the Texans. The injuries to the Minnesota is terrible. He's going to eat. He's gonna find his way in the end zone. I'm calling it right now. Take the anytime touchdown on Cam Akers.
No, the Texans are the 3rd ranked defense for fantasy points against running backs. There's no way I'm trusting Cam Akers.
Cam Akers is on the Texans.
Get him out.
Cam Akers is on the Texans.
Yeah, he's on the Texans. He's going against the
Vikings. Oh, balls. Well, the Vikings are 8th. Either way it goes. They're still very good. Both run defenses are great.
They are. Well, although Mason just ran for 100 on him, but I get,
That's Mason, though. Mason's a beast, bro.
I agree.
I mean, like, for what it's worth, if we're looking at just like touchdown upside, because that's what it comes down to, against running backs, the Vikings have only allowed 1 rushing touchdown in the last 2 games. And that's it. Whereas the Commanders, on average per game, allow 3 receiving touchdowns to the wide receiver position on average per game. So for that and that alone, since it's such a plus matchup for Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, it's going to be a plus matchup for T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins gets 1 deep and he finds the end zone. I'm going with T. Higgins. But back to the Eagles Saints game. Sleazimus Decimus Meridius, you're up. I hope that answers your question, Farquad. You got 2 T. Higgins, 1 Cam Akers.
The game of the week that I am going to be glued to is this game right here, the Philadelphia Eagles versus the New Orleans Saints. But before we dive into it, let me give you a little stat that I haven't heard yet from most people or anywhere, really. The Philadelphia Eagles defense is the only defense in the NFL right now that ranks bottom 7 versus the pass and the run. But there's 2 ways to look at that. They have played 2 playoff teams to start, right? So it's a little different narrative. You got Jordan Love healthy in week 1. So, like when I'm looking at like rankings and stuff and I see like, 8th or 6th or 4th, you have there is a lot of rankings where teams are skewed by playing easy matchups and stuff. Like you played the Panthers, obviously you're going to be in the top 10 defense, right?
True.
But this game is going to be Chris Olave all the way. That's going to feast in this game. Derek Carr, I love his over. Every single thing that there is for Derek Carr, I love. Taysom Hill is going to be out, so you can fire up the number 1 running back in fantasy and Alvin Kamara. And on the Eagles side, dude, the Saints defense is lights out versus the run. So they're second in the NFL, allowing 63 yards a game. Saquon's in for a little trouble. They're nasty up front. The Saints are beatable in the secondary. That's their weak spot, but there's no A.J. Brown here. I mean, I like the Saints to cover the 2.5. I like the Saints to beat them here. And if I had to pick an outlier in this game, like here's my crazy call right here. I like Bub Means out of Pitt to get a deep bomb touchdown in this game, even though he doesn't play like 15, 20% of the snaps.
Interesting. Okay. So all signs are pointing that this is a tremendous matchup for Derek Carr. This is a tremendous matchup for Chris Olave or Shaheed. This is a tremendous matchup for.
I'm not riding the boom on him again.
For Kamara, this is a tremendous matchup for all of them, right? But it's also a really good matchup for Jalen Hurts in a lot of aspects. If we're talking about pass attempts, they got the 4th best matchup where there's 36.5 pass attempts on average against that team. If we're talking about passing yards, on average, the Saints allow 230 passing yards per game to the quarterback position. What's up?
I mean, but this is kind of like what I'm talking about. The Saints blew both teams out, so those numbers, I don't like those numbers. You know, they're passing the ball because they're down 30 points in both games.
Well. If you just let me finish without interrupting me so rudely, allow me to cook, sir. I'm in the fucking kitchen. Don't interrupt. I am hungry. Let me cook, sir. With that being said, I feel like these Saints are the biggest frauds in the NFL. They've had 2. Yes. They've had 2 incredibly easy matchups. The Dallas Cowboys, like we've been saying all offseason, are a terrible football team offensively and defensively. Their game against the Browns, they went against a really shitty Deshaun Watson, a very, very, very shitty Deshaun Watson, and a very shitty offense in a really bad weather condition. They're letting Dak Prescott get killed, so he's dead. That team's dead. They are frauds. It's a trap. I'm going Eagles. I'm taking the under on everything across the board. Devonta Smith is an absolute smash. Jalen Hurts is an absolute smash. And I also like Dallas Goedert in this matchup. I think Dallas Goedert has an incredible opportunity, and this is going to be his coming out party. If I'm going to say there's a tertiary option that I kind of like, it's Jahan Dotson. He's kind of the forgotten guy, very explosive player, still in the Kellen Moore explosive offense. If I'm going to take a tertiary play in DFS this week, it's going to be Jahan Dotson. I think the Eagles win by 3 touchdowns, and I would like the under. Yeah. This is the first real matchup that the Saints have, and people have been giving the Browns and the Cowboys way too much credit because of what they did last year. This is not last year. It's not. Let's catch up with the chat. Feel free to call me out.
They didn't play the Browns, though. Is that?
Yeah, they played
the Cowboys played the Browns.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That was a good call yesterday. We were talking about that. That was good.
If it's above medium, we're going to have to check you for taste buds. Facts. Camaro, we trust. Camaro is going to bust. Jane,
pause.
Yeah, I'm just hating for the sake of hating. Jaden Daniels or Geno Smith in my other league, full PPR. Jaden Daniels. It's a great matchup. Medium rare is the only way. Facts. Only for my wide receiver 2, should I start Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Digba, or DK? I'm going DK.
Olave.
You guys?
Olave.
Okay. Play London or Sharp full PPR. I like Sharp's matchup a little bit more. Drake London's got a decent matchup too, but Sharp's got one of the most plus matchups for the running backs this week. What do you guys think?
I got a good one for this one. If you want to go first, Ben, go for it.
No, I would rather Drake London. I just think that when Charbonnet gets the opportunities, man, he just doesn't do anything, man. He's got so much talent coming out of college, but he hasn't shown me that he's a good running back yet. I don't know. A lot of people probably don't like that. But man, I don't like it, man. I don't know. I would go Drake London for sure. But that's
I think that's a safe assessment, and I've been like preaching London all year, so it's weird for me to say that.
He has a great matchup this week too, but I don't trust him.
Yeah.
Get ready for it, boys. Spagnola is taking a play out of the Belichick handbook right now and taking the superstar away from every single team they're playing. Look at Jamar Chase. Look at Travis Kelce. Look at Mark Andrews. This is what they're doing. I do not like Drake London this week. It is Kyle Pitts week here.
Kyle Pitts week?
I've heard that before.
I know. I mean, he does have a plus matchup as well, but wouldn't you say that means that they're going to be taking away Bijan Robinson? Because I think Bijan Robinson is their best player.
I'm talking on the receiving aspect. This is what they're doing.
Okay. I respect it. I respect it. I respect it a lot. Disco, Sleaze, and Bayou. Sup, fellas? What's up, Bing King? Good to see you, buddy. Is Lattimore playing? That's a great question. Anybody have any information on that?
Yeah, he should. He was questionable. He was a full participant.
Yeah, he practiced fully.
I believe Friday, limited on Thursday, but he is expected to play. So
yeah, based on alignment, I still like Devonta Smith because he lines up relatively everywhere. They're still using him in the slot too, especially since AJ Brown's done. Will Fantasy Football says, "What's up, fellas? Start Cam Akers this weekend, or who? Who's
I love Cam this week, man. People sleeping on this. Watch this hit, dude. I'm telling
you. Hussein says, "Come on, Sleezball, stop bothering my boy." Ouch, my boy Sleezball. We love Sleezball. What's up? Who's goat? Bayoubengal, so funny. I love you. Yeah, he's a good sport. I mean, he's also currently $500,000 looks like it's coming his way. I honestly, if it does go to you, I'll be very happy for you. I'll be very mad because like it goes against everything I believe in terms of best ball drafts, like absolutely everything I believe in. But as a person, it's going to deserve. I'm hoping somebody would say, pour yourself a glass of Zach Charbonnet. Nope. Pop that Charbonnet. Tajay Spears. Oh yeah, I'm going Cam Akers over Tajay Spears. Even though it's a great matchup. Yeah, it's a great matchup for Tennessee running backs, but Tony Pollard has proven to be the guy. Tajay Spears is an afterthought. What's good, Farquad? What's up the chip? All right, we're good. Are we ready to move on to the next game?
Let's do it.
All right, Sleaze, you're up first, and oddly enough, it is the Packers versus Titans game. The Packers are coming in as 3-point dogs to Tennessee. The over-under is 37.5. What do you like? What do you dislike? Who's a good tertiary play? Who's a guy who's going to be absolute smash? And who's a must-sit?
Oh, man. And this all hinges on Jordan Love, right? And they just brought up that other quarterback today from the practice squad again. So it looks like Jordan Love, after fighting through all the limited practices right now, when you bring a quarterback up from your practice squad, it looks like he's not going to be out there. And I don't want any Packers wide receivers with Malik Willis if there's no Jordan Love out there. We learned that last week, man. It was terrible. And they're probably going to pound the run here. So if you have to love the volume last week of Josh Jacobs' 30-plus carries. They're not going to be playing the Colts defense here, so I think it's going to be a little different look for Josh Jacobs this week. And Will Levis, man, this Tennessee Titans defense is holding teams to 114 yards a game, the number one pass defense in the NFL, and he can't freaking score the ball. So DeAndre Hopkins has got to get back out there. His chemistry with him last year was phenomenal. And if he's playing 40 to 50% snaps, they got to ramp this up to like 60 to 70 at least. I know he's older, coming off the injury. But Tony Pollard's another smash play here for me. He looks great. He looks healthy. You had a great call on that before the season with Tony Pollard. But I really don't feel comfortable. I got Calvin Ridley on a bench him. So I don't like anybody really from this game but Jacobs or Pollard. I think that's how it's going to go here.
Bayou, time to cook, sir.
Yeah. So this I think is going to be a complete run game on both sides, right? So I love myself, especially if Jordan Love sits. We saw 32 carries from Josh Jacobs last week going against the Titans defense ranked 24th for fantasy points against opposing running backs. And on the flip side, you got, especially if Tajay Spears plays, but I think he might end up sitting. But if he sits, that's even more opportunities for Tony Pollard going against the Packers defense ranked 26th against opposing running backs for fantasy points allowed. This should be a running game. I mean, Malik Willis and Will Levis, what are you going to do there? If you're saying there's one sleeper, I would probably say Calvin Ridley because the Packers defense doesn't do too well against wide receivers, currently ranked right now 21st in the NFL as far as fantasy points allowed. So sleeper, I guess, could be Calvin Ridley, take a couple deep shots, but I think this entire game is going to surround around the running game with Tony Pollard, Josh Jacobs. I think both is going to be an absolute smash play. Even if Jordan Love somehow plays, I don't think he plays. Even if he does, they're not going to go out there and say, you know what, Jordan Love, you had this sprained MCL let's go out there and throw 30, 40 times. That's not going to happen. They're still going to be on the run game. So I'm all about the 2 running backs in this game for sure.
I like it. I like the call a lot. Respectfully, I don't think you guys are degenerate enough. I was hoping somebody would take the bait and bet on Malik Willis revenge game here. You guys are not degenerates. You guys are very smart individuals, so I respect that. I'm going to say that I am avoiding all Packers players whatsoever this week. I think Will Levis is going to smash his current projections, and he's definitely going to show that he's gone against 2 really tough defenses in his first 2 matchups, and this is a really, really easy cakewalk. If Jordan Love plays, the game will be a lot closer. If Jordan Love doesn't play, it's a complete wash. I think Josh Jacobs is my sit. Will Levis is my sleeper, and my must start is Tony Pollard or Calvin Ridley. Both of them, I think, are absolute smash this week, and I think both of them should be in every one of your fantasy football lineups or your DFS lineups.
Hit that stand on business right now. Why is it a cakewalk to play the Packers defense?
Sir, say please.
Please.
Hold up. What did you just say? I'm going to need you to stand on business. So if we're looking at what happened last week, that is a complete outlier performance offensively from the Indianapolis Colts. They hardly ran the ball. They hardly controlled time of possession. The game wasn't close at all, even though the score was relatively close the entire game down the stretch. It just wasn't close. If we're looking at a team that's going to, one, play much better defense than the Indianapolis Colts, that means there's going to be more snap share, more opportunity for that Tennessee Titans offense. That Tennessee Titans offense is better at passing than Anthony Richardson. Yes, Will Levis has made some bonehead mistakes, but he's also made some of the most impressive spot-on throws I've seen in my entire life.
True.
Like that throw to Calvin Ridley last week, that wasn't a Ridley catch. That was a Will Levis throw, 100%. It was absolutely spectacular. I'm the biggest Will Levis hater on the fucking planet, and I think this is a plus game for Will Levis. I'm not looking at last week's performance as any indicator of the Packers defense improving. I'm looking at it as an indicator that the Indianapolis Colts offense really needs Josh Downs, the glue that keeps the offense together. And the coaching really needs to get it together and start making more better calls. And what it comes down to is game script. This is a much better defense. They're not going to be playing from behind. So they're going to set up the play action. He's going to have better chunk plays, better opportunities than Calvin Ridley or Hopkins or Boyd, one of those guys. I like the receiving core a lot for this game, and I think they're going to be great. I think it's going to be good.
So which defense would you say is better, the Houston Texans or the Green Bay Packers?
Houston.
So Anthony Richardson drops 35 points on the Texans and 10 on the Green Bay Packers. And the Packers played the playoff Eagles healthy with A.J. Brown week 1 on Friday night in Brazil in a terrible field.
You're looking at the bottom line. How many completions did Anthony Richardson have against that Houston Texans offense?
9.
Okay. So on average, a quarterback who only completes 9 throws is probably going to have a bad night. He had an outlier performance because he made some incredible throws and he beat people deep in week 1. It was the week 1 jitters. It happens. I don't think that's going to happen.
I just think the Packers defense is better than you're giving credit for. I think they're a good defense.
Historically, how often have you seen a quarterback complete 9 completions?
Yeah, rough.
And put up that, we've almost never seen it and put up those kinds of fantasy numbers. It's an outlier performance. So with that being said, I'm looking at wide receiver targets against the Green Bay Packers. Their 8th best opportunity with 20 targets per game. If we're looking at receptions, there's at least 11 receptions to the wide receiver position per game. If we're looking at receiving yards, there's at least 161.5 receiving yards.
What would those numbers look like if they played the Panthers week 1, though? They played the NFC contender Eagles.
Yeah.
It just seems skewed like that because, I don't know, their defense is good to me.
I'm not saying he's the QB1 on the week. I'm saying he's going to have a great week because it's a beneficial matchup. It's a plus matchup. It's not the plusest matchup, but it's also not a bad matchup. It's a great matchup, and I have Tennessee winning this game, regardless or not if Jordan Love plays.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
I just like the Packers D this week a lot.
I'm very curious to see how this pans out. Do we have anything else to touch on this game, or are we good to move on?
Well, good.
Any props? I want to hear what you guys' props thoughts on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the over on Tony Pollard rushing yards, and I like the over on Will Levis longest rush, and that's the only his longest rushing yards is 12 and a half. So I like the 12 and a half rushing yards. I think that's free money. And then Tony Pollard, 65.5 rushing yards. I like that. I think that's also free money.
Oh, it's 65. Yeah, because I got Tony Pollard at 60.5. But either way, he's averaging 72 yards a game. And even if, with the ankle injury to Tajay Spears, there's a possibility that even gets more. Me personally, I like Josh Jacobs over. I had it at 76.5. I don't know what it is now.
It's still there.
Okay. He's averaging 117 yards a game. I mean, the dude he's just running. They don't have anything else. They just run. I think opportunity and volume alone is going to boost him over the 76.5. I like both of those. So
Tennessee's run D ranks 10th and pass D ranks 1st, and they played 2 solid matchups. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, they rank
on the run, but
to the bottom as far as fantasy points, though. That's
I guess
there's more rushing yards too, though.
Do we think Chicago's a solid matchup?
Their defense, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, you don't like no other props. We don't like anything. That's it.
No.
If I were to bet on anything else, it would be under Josh Jacobs.
I like Jaden Reed 31.5 rushing receiving a lot.
If Willis plays, I think that's a wash. Especially if we're talking about like that being an absolute spectacular. Like it would be more lucky for that to hit than anything, and I just don't like it. I think.
What about Emmanuel Wilson at 18?
I don't like that either. Like I'll say I like the under on Josh Jacobs because I really like this defense for Tennessee. This Tennessee defense is great. But if Jordan Love plays, my entire approach completely changes. So like 2 things that like I think are foolproof absolute locks: 12.5 rushing yards for Will Levis, regardless of Jordan Love playing or not.
Yeah,
and then Tony Pollard 65.5 rushing yards as well.
That's such a slap in the face to Malik Willis. 144.5. What NFL quarterback can't throw 144 yards in a game?
Caleb Williams.
God, yeah, 70 yards.
It's been tough, and like the fact that like his prop currently is at 213.5, and the Colts haven't let more than 173.5 passing yards. That's free money, man. The under there, it's absolute free money.
Yeah.
All right, Caleb Williams, passing yards, it's at 213.5.
I like that.
All right, we good to move on?
Yep.
All right, we got who started last one? Sleaze, that was you that started. So, Bengal, you got this one. We got the Houston Texans at 1 p.m. Eastern time coming into Minnesota as 1.5 favorites. The over/under is 46.0 points. Injuries to note is both Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce are not suiting up. So Cam Akers looks like he's getting the start. And what's up, Sleaze?
No, I was just throwing up for Cam Akers. I like Cam Akers this week a lot.
You're just doing like the finger gun. I was like, is your hand up? Like, what's going on? Bayou, take it away, buddy.
Yeah, so I guess this is the one where I guess me and Sleaze are going to kind of differ on. I see his point. Cam Akers, he's got all the opportunity now. No Dameon Pierce, no Joe Mixon. It's going to be the Cam Akers show in a high-powered offense. Completely get it. I try to wrap my head around. Is the Vikings defense really as good as what they have been? They're blowing us away, right? Sam Darnold's playing great on offense. He's playing a lot better than what a lot of people thought he was. And then you got this defense is playing absolutely phenomenal right now. And I just see in a Houston team that, listen, the Houston Texans, they're a great defense, but they are trash for fantasy points for opposing quarterbacks. I think Sam Darnold's going to be able to launch the ball down the field to Justin Jefferson. He's going to have a bomb game, and they're going to have to throw the ball to keep up with the Vikings. And it's crazy for me to even say that out loud, but I think it's going to be the truth. I think that they're going to kind of phase out Cam Akers. They have a very good run defense over, like I said, 8th in fantasy points against opposing running backs. They're doing very, very good. I just don't see it from a running back who's supposedly great and elite, who has been passed around like meatloaf leftovers. Nobody seems to want him anymore. He was an afterthought. Now he finally gets an opportunity. Looks great in preseason, right? But does he do it? I just don't have the faith enough to put any kind of money behind that, saying, look, on drafters or on my fantasy lineup, don't really want Cam Akers. I don't like it this week. But I don't know. I like Sam Darnold for my smash play of the week. So Rock and roll.
Yeah, Ben King says, am I the only one playing Jaden Reed this week? Absolutely love Reed for leverage in DFS. I mean, he is cheap. It is definitely a pay down option. I think his value with Malik Willis is there's no value there. It's like, yes, it's
Tennessee
good.
pass defensive.
Yeah. If you're looking at value, it's Jaden Reed's rushing ability, not his receiving ability with Malik Willis.
But if Jordan Love plays, like every statistic that we've talked about for Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, you name it, that's all through the roof because I believe Jordan Love is matchup proof. He can outperform any sort of tough defensive matchup that he's about to face. Josh Jacobs is going to have a field day. I beg to differ. It's a tough matchup. They're gonna need to throw. They're not going to control the time position here. But we'll see. Stand on business, boys. Let's hear it. I love it. This is my third league. I'm having trouble to decide on my second wide receiver herd. Waddle or Jaden Reed, full PPR Waddle. Packers defense is in play.
That's tough.
Let's fucking go Texas. As Houstonian, I don't understand all the Cam Akers hype. Look for CJ to sling in all games, smash the overs on Stroud. It's very seldomly does CJ Stroud hit the overs on his passing yardage. But Sleaze, you're up, Buttercup.
Cam Akers is about to explode in this game, and it's going to be funny because 2 to 4 weeks is looking like Joe Mixon, and that is a very slow ramp-up injury according to Dr. Jesse and all the other players that have had it. So it's going to look really rough here for Joe Mixon the rest of the way. And if Cam Akers balls out here, you might be looking at a little more playing time for him off the Achilles. Now, came in last week, rushed for, 32 yards, 5 yards an average, or 32 yards, 7 carries, about 5 yards per carry average. You have all these wide receivers. They cannot stack the box. They even have Dalton Schultz. They cannot in any way, shape, or form stack the box. And the Vikings have averaged 65 rush yards per game as a defense with their superstar linebacker, Ivan Pace, who is now the number one run stuffing tight or linebacker, and he's out for the game here. And this is going to be where Cam Akers finds the end zone. He has a 15-plus game here. He's going to see 20 touches, and he's going to ball out. He is my sleeper play of the week. I liked him in all my videos I've done, and I think he's going to ball out this week. Now, on the Texans wide receiver side, I hate to say it, man, Nico Collins is him. I got to take that one to the face. He's balling out. I think Tank Dell has a big game. I think even Diggs could have a big game here. Minnesota's secondary is where they're weak. They're nasty up front, and they blitz a lot. They blitz 60% of the time on defense, which is crazy. So it could be quick dumps, or it could be, beat him real quick off the line. But I don't like Sam Darnold that much this week. I like Bengal does. I think it's going to be a tougher matchup here. But, I mean, he shredded the Niners, but it was a 97-yard bomb. So, I mean, that's kind of an outlier in fantasy football or football period. But I don't like you sit Aaron Jones, you sit Ty Chandler. I like both the unders there. This Texans run D is absolutely disgusting. And I mean, it's Jettas and all the wide receivers and Akers for me, and Stroud. I don't think I like Sam Darnold that much this week, but we'll see if he proves me wrong.
Heard. So I just got to let the folks know that whenever I see like a fun little glitch in the matrix that we call Drafters Fantasy. By the way, use promo code DISCO on Drafters or promo code Sleaze or promo code Bayoubengal. Use any of those promo codes to double your first deposit up to $100 skis. But whenever I find these fun little situations, right now, Nico Collins, his rushing and receiving yards is less than his receiving yards on Drafters. I'm smashing the over regardless, especially if there's a full yard that they're gifting to us. It's at 74.5. I love Nico Collins this week. I hate Cam Akers this week. He's a must sit for. I think Bayoubengal was on point saying that game script alone says that it's going to be a passing game for Houston and not a running game. I think the first game performance for Joe Mixon, we could chalk that to Indianapolis being one of the worst defenses we've seen historically. And shout out to me because I fucking predicted that.
Okay. On stream, babe.
And then, what was that? And then last one, I think a good tertiary play is actually Ty Chandler. I think Ty Chandler will outperform not just Aaron Jones, but also outperform Cam Akers, and he will have some fantasy value as a fringe RB3 or a borderline flex option. Like Ty Chandler a lot this week. Those are my three.
Dalton Schultz too. Just going to point him out. The Vikings are terrible against the tight end position, man. I think Dalton Schultz can have himself a game too.
Yeah, well, like I mean, last week I saw that and I was like, man, there's a lot of opportunity. I think Kittle's going to finish off as the week as the tight end one. That was an absolute smash. I think if we're talking about vacancy stylistically, where the targets are going, we could see that either it's going to be a Diggs or Nico Collins game. I think Diggs is going to get it in terms of volume, where he's going to get receptions and dink and dunks. I kind of like the under on his longest receptions, but I think Nico Collins is just a smash play pretty much every week, and I've been wrong about him, and I'm done betting against him. So the one time I bet on him is probably going to bust. But yeah. Diggs, dink and dunk routes underneath, also smash over on Diggs receptions. I like that call. Pause. Diggs revenge game. This is true, Mr. Magic. If Akers gets 20 rushes, we are all doomed. CJ will let loose. Don't give Akers the ball.
Dude.
I agree 100%.
Bobby Slowick from the Niners, man. They just used one guy. I'm telling you, Cam Akers' usage is going to be wild in this game.
Hussein, you have a wonderful day, brother. Take care. God bless you, buddy. Thank you for stopping by. Guys, if you have not subscribed to Bayoubengal, if you have not subscribed to my guy Sleezball, please do so. Before we move on to the next game, is there any props, pick'ems, anything like that you guys like in this game?
You go for it. You go for it first, Bengal.
Actually, I have none in here. I literally, in all capital letters, I have none for props. This is one of like 2 or 3 games that I think even the next game we're talking about, I have no props. I don't really am confident in any of the drafters props, but I'm curious to see what you guys are saying.
Yeah, I like the Nico Collins one a heck of a lot, and I want to say that I really like the Ty Chandler rushing yards at 35.5.
I am under on Ty Chandler. I think that's an absolute lock for rushing. The Texans front is disgusting. I like Kai Fairbairn's kicker points at 7.5, and I like Tank Dell's longest reception at 21.
Okay. Who started this game, by the way? Was that Bayou or was it Sleaze?
Me, right?
All right. Next game, Sleaze, you're starting this one. It's a gross one. The 1 p.m. Eastern time, the New York Giants are coming in as 6.5-point dogs in Cleveland. The over-under is 38.5, and you're up. Let's make this brief because I fucking hate this game.
This is going to be Danny Dimes' last game as a starter in the NFL right here. The old Cleveland Brown fans are going to be cheering for DeVito in their own home stadium because it's so disgusting for Danny Dimes here. I have Neighbors on a sit-em. I have Singletary on a sit-em. I don't like anything from this game except for Theo Johnson because the tight end opportunities are pretty good against the Browns, but that's not a strong start. I think it's going to be a full run fest. I think the tertiary play is Deonta Foreman because Ford's snaps dropped to 44% last week, even though he had a 9-yard average per carry. And I think he's going to find the end zone as a big boy in the red zone. And I think the Cleveland Browns just mop them up here with the ugly run game. I mean, I'm waiting for Amari Cooper to break, but I don't think it's going to be here, even though the matchup looks great. Jerry Judy's outplayed him. And Njoku's ruled out. I don't like Akins. I don't like anything except maybe a Wan'Dale Robinson dart throw against the Browns, possibly. I mean, I think Denzel Ward's going to get Neighbors, and it's going to be rough out there for Neighbors. Everyone's hyped on that Commanders game, but everyone blows up the Commanders. I mean, that's a given.
Heard. So let's take a moment to answer Mr. Magic's question. He says number 1 player at each position this week. I'll go first. Give you guys a second to get that. At quarterback, Joe Burrow. At wide receiver, Jamar Chase. At running back, Derrick Henry. And at tight end, Brock Bowers. I know, tight end, Sam Laporta. My bad.
I guess I can go real quick. I get my number 1 quarterback this week is Josh Allen. Bijan Robinson is my number 1 running back. My wide receiver number 1 is Amon-Ra St. Brown, and my number 1 tight end is Brock Bowers.
I like it a lot. Sleaze?
Kyler Murray is my quarterback 1. My running back 1 was Achane, but now that Kittle is out, Jordan Mason is going to be the running back 1. There's no one I would rather start in fantasy football than Jordan Mason this week. My wide receiver, I'm going to go with Chris Olave, and my tight end is going to get a little fancy here, and I'm going to go with Zach Ertz.
It's cute. All right, you got our answers.
I did a lot of research on that Bengals. That they cannot stop the tight end, man.
That's awesome, dude.
I like it. All right, Bayou, you're up. Let's talk about this Giants game. This terrible fucking football game.
I mean, I guess I have to at this point. Daniel Jones he's just going to be a big bust. Like I said, if you want to pull anything out of this, whether it's like a flex play or a DFS play, I'd say Wando Robinson. I think he gets enough points here or there to be fantasy relevant. Malik Neighbors, obviously, target volume alone is going to help him, but against this defense, like they're just going to be in the backfield all day long. Will he have enough time to get it to Neighbors? It's a complete disgusting play. I even have this is my second one that I have none on the props just because I just want to completely stay away from this game. I think it's ugly. I think it's not pretty. Who wants to go watch Daniel Jones versus Deshaun Watson at this point? Probably nobody, man. But yeah, I don't like it at all, man. Nothing of it. I don't like it.
All right. So my number one player owned right now in my DFS lineups is Deshaun Watson at quarterback. I just think he's very inexpensive, and it's such a plus matchup. I also love his over 11.5 longest rush yards prop on drafters. So he's my tertiary play. My must start in this game is Jerome Ford. If we're looking at receptions, the Giants give up a lot of receptions to the running back position and a lot of production in general to the running back position. And then last but not least, it could be Amari Cooper. It could be Jerry Jeudy. It could be Elijah Moore, but every week one wide receiver absolutely dominates against the New York Giants, and one of them needs to do that this week. So pick your poison. I think any one of them is startable. I'm going to go on the side of Jerry Jeudy, just stylistically against the second cornerback there. I think he's got a better matchup and opportunity than Amari Cooper. With that being said, guys, are we allowed to switch games?
Please.
Well, I would like to run a little props on this one, though.
Yeah.
Do you like any of the props in this game? I like Deontay Foreman and Ford to go over and Singletary to go under rushing. A lot.
I just like Deshaun Watson over his longest, and maybe Jordan Akins receptions. So receiving yards 19.5. I like that.
You like Akins? Oof.
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah. Well, look at the tight end position against the New York Giants.
Right. His volume is terrible, but I get it.
Yeah, it's a reliable target. He's getting opportunities, and the Giants give up opportunities. I don't like any of them. Like, are these guys who I'm going to go out of my way to watch? Absolutely not. But it's just the bets that work. For me at least. All right, moving on. Let's go to the next game. We got the Sleezeball starting this one, right? We got the Denver Broncos, who are 6-point dogs, coming into Tampa Bay, another 1 p.m. Eastern time game. This is the last one of that time window. The over-under is 41. Sleaze, what you got for me, buddy? What you like here? What you dislike?
I don't like any Broncos ever. So, we can just throw that out there right now. Javonte Williams might eat in garbage time here in this game again like last week and maybe beat his projection. Bo Nix completions, I love that prop because they're going to be playing from behind 90% of their games this year.
It's easy money. It's free money.
It's easy money. If I'm looking at an outlier, I'm going to say it's going to be Bucky Irving in this game because I think Bucky Irving with Rashad White with the growing going on, I think they're going to have this game in hand kind of early here. The Broncos aren't even going to score a touchdown this rate. It's just absolutely terrible. And maybe Vele as a dart throw. He saw a lot of targets in week 1. He's back healthy this week again. It looks like he's not looking at Sutton or he's not having his reads. I don't know what, Bo Nix looks a little lost going past 10, 15 yards. I know he's a rookie in his first 2 games. But they do have Vita out. So, that does help the run game for the Broncos a little bit. K. Dotton out there running wind sprints at 97% snaps, just like last year. Same thing, different story, or same thing, different day with him. And Godwin, I feel like, is going to have a monster game here because Surtain is going to lock up Evans.
Bayou?
Yeah, I liked I'm really big on Chris Godwin this week, and I know that they have an amazing pass defense with Patrick Surtain. I think I was kind of talking to you guys earlier about this too. I think Mike Evans is going to get completely just clanked, and they're going to have to throw the football. That's just what Baker Mayfield does, and he's going to sling the ball as much as he can. I think a lot of it's going to go to Chris Godwin, and Chris Godwin, like I said, he plays 71% in the slot. Their slot corner right there, unless Patrick Surtain somehow slides over and leaves Mike Evans open, which I don't think is going to happen. He's going to get a lot of opportunities, man. I think Chris Godwin's a smash this week, and I think if you're looking for a sleeper it's going to have to be Bucky Irvin. I think he's getting more and more opportunities to kind of spell Rachaad White at this point. And it's getting, I mean, they've been looking for somebody to give White a rest. And I think that they finally found one. And then my biggest bust this week is Mike Evans for sure. Just stay away from the guy. I mean, just see what he's done earlier, whether it's DK Metcalf or he's just shutting people down. You know, DK Metcalf and George Pickens, who he had. And I'm sorry, but I think both of them are better as far as talent and youth-wise than Mike Evans, and both of them struggled. So you're not going to see Mike Evans do anything either. So
Pickens did have like 60 yards of flags called back, though, but he still locked him up pretty nicely.
Yeah.
All right. So my number one sit in this game is Baker Mayfield. I think Bo Nix is going to be my number one tertiary play. And then a player who I think is a must start in this game is going to be Javonte Williams. I think there's a lot of opportunity in terms of receptions. He's shown that he's clearly the better and number one running back in the Denver Broncos room. And he also shown that none of them have any like real fantasy relevance, but if any of them do, it would be Javonte. McLaughlin is McLaughable. My favorite props here are both with the quarterback positions. I like Baker Mayfield over 9.5 rushing yards. That's easy money. And like we've called this every week, the check down king is fucking Bo Nix. It's at 18.5 completions. If we're looking at what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers allow in terms of completions to the quarterback position, they are actually the second best opportunity at 25.5. He's averaging 23 completions. Everything's lining up like it's an outlier stat. So I love that stat. Those are my two favorite locks on the entire week, actually, in one of the ugliest games of the slate. So with that being said, guys,
one more. I just want to mention too, Will Lutz over 1.5 field goals. He got 5 field goals through 2 games, and with Nick struggling to really put it to the end zone, they've been relying on Will Lutz a lot. I think 2 field goals. I think that's a lock too. To me.
Nice.
I think Bucky's rushing too.
I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. Someone just dropped Zamir White. Do I drop most of him? Yes, do it, Mr. Magic. 100% do it. Don't do it. Like, don't even think twice about it. I'm still on that train. I'm still on that bandwagon until I die. Anything else we want to talk about this game, or can we move on?
No, sir.
Interesting note would be that Greg Dulcich got 8 targets last week, leading the Broncos. I kind of had him as a sleeper early, and I hope it's getting a little chemistry being built here with him and Bo Nix.
Yeah, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are one of the best teams against the tight end position in general, period.
I know, but you're going to get volume of passing and playing from behind all day with the Broncos. So I mean, it's just an interesting fact.
But I think the vacancy and the targets are going to go elsewhere. I think it's going to go to the running back position because people just don't want to throw it deep on Tampa. So, I mean, you could be right. But he's a major avoid for me this week. I don't know about you, Bengals. Do you like him?
Who's that?
2.5 receptions looks nice. That's what I'm talking about. Drafters.
Who?
Dulcich.
Oh man, I'm staying away from Dulcich though. Yeah, 2.5 looks nice, but he just, I mean, I don't know what his involvement's going to be from week to week, man. Like, one week
he's the number 7 targeted tight end in football.
So yeah, but is that turning into production?
No, I'm just saying. It's just a throw out, just a dart throw.
It is a very good opportunity, sure. I will give you that. I will concede that.
I'm literally making a bet on the fly. That's why I wasn't listening, because you guys talking about Bo Nix over 18.5 completion. I was like, man, that's actually a smash.
Oh yeah, it's literally hit for me the first 2 weeks, and it's only going lower every week. I fucking love that.
I think I'm gonna tag that with 65.5 receiving yards over Chris Godwin. I really like that.
What's his receptions at? Do they have a receptions prop for him?
5.5, I think, or I don't know.
There's no receptions prop for him right now. I would just wait. Like if you plan on putting real money on that, I would just wait until tomorrow. But like then they could also put it up on him. Like if we're looking at rushing production for the quarterback position against the Denver Broncos. Obviously, Justin Fields smashed that last week, and the week before, Geno Smith smashed that. And Baker Mayfield has been rushing out of his fucking mind. 9.5 rushing yards seems pretty free, especially with his first and second read probably being taken away. I think that's easy free money. Like my 2 favorite locks on the week, but it's your money, boo boo. Do what you got to do. I do love the completions there, though.
How did they lower it after he's beaten it twice?
I know, right? He not only has he beaten it twice, he's like dominated it twice. The check down king. I love it. All right, next game. Bengal, you're starting off this one. It's the first game of the 4 4:05 slate. At 4:05 p.m. Eastern time, the Carolina Panthers are 6-point dogs coming into Las Vegas. The over-under is 40. Let's talk about it. And then let's try to find one shine, because nobody's talking about the Carolina Panthers. I think Sleezeball alluded to the fact that he likes Red Rockets because he's a fucking weirdo. But other than that, nobody's giving these guys any sort of love or any sort of credit. So let's try to give one positive takeaway for the Carolina Panthers. Or outlier sort of opportunity in this game. Bengal, you're up, Buttercup.
I mean, this is going to be some fantasy football gold. And you guys hear it. I'm telling you guys right now. Deontay Johnson, this is the game that he's going to go absolutely bananas. We saw it last year when it ended up the Red Rock came in here and he was hyper-targeting a lot of Adam Thielen, kind of showing him, hey, this is how it's done. I think Deontay Johnson's coming in to be the main guy here, and I think he's going to have a massive game as Deontay Johnson. And then on the flip side, Brock Bowers going against this Carolina Panthers defense. Absolute cockadoodoo. I think both of these players right here are going to have huge fantasy numbers this week. And that's why Brock Bowers is my number one tight end. And right now on drafters and all these splash drafts that I'm doing, I'm getting a lot of Deontay Johnson too because no one's touching him. But I'm thinking right now his props 49.5 receiving yards. I think Deontay Johnson goes well above 49.5 receiving yards, man. I absolutely love this, guys. I think Andy Dalton is just what the Panthers needed. I don't think they're going to be no Super Bowl or playoff contenders with him, but he's a lot better than what Bryce Young is. And I think some of these receiving options are actually maybe Xavier Legette has some more. Maybe Adam Thielen has a little bit more. I just think a total – I think the offense is going to run a lot smoother with Andy Dalton in running the quarterback position. And I think Deontay Johnson is going to have a phenomenal game. Put this guy in your lineups and put him in DFS because not a lot of people are playing him. He's going to shock some people this week, man. For sure.
Sleazimus Decimus Meridius. By the way, I just wanted to shout out my guy, BKKG. He says, Return of the Quack. What's up, buddy? Good to see you, BK. Mr. Magic asks, do I play Zamir White or Juan Jennings? I'm saying Zamir. I don't know what you guys are saying.
Jennings.
Oh, so Zamir is smashing.
Jennings or Madison.
Fucking guy. The takeaway for the Panthers, they're healthy, which makes a lot of difference for the season. You're right. You're right, Andrew. You're right, but not defensively. Sleaze,
they're missing their superstar on defense.
Yeah, I'm the only superstar on that team.
Yeah.
Sleaze, you're up, buddy. Talk to us. What do you like about this game?
I like the Red Rocket to smash every passing perk that he has in this game. The passing attempts, the passing yards, just like Bengal said, I tweeted out a couple days ago. Last time he was out there, he played the number one defense in Seattle last year when Bryce Young went down in fantasy football. Came in and threw for 361, and they held him to 3 points on defense. As the defense. And he's going to open this offense up. He's the veteran. You got to say, if you look at last year, right, when he played, I know he's Andy Dalton and he's older and he's not a phenomenal quarterback, but he's serviceable. And now you have a better offensive line than last year, more weapons than last year. And you got Dave Canales, who's supposed to be better. I mean, I thought Dave Canales would be a better offensive coordinator or head coach here than he was offensive coordinator, but it looks like he's struggling there. Or it could just be Bryce Young is bad. And we just, it's too early for him to throw him out there. Should have maybe Drake made him, sit him out for a little bit. But I don't like, bashing him, but I guess he looks terrible. And that's just facts. On the Raiders side, this is a Zamir White game. I am trying to stay away from all the passing props here because the Panthers just get thrashed in the run game. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. If you look at their run game it's 200 yards a game. Second worst in the NFL. So Zamir's going to absolutely feast here. Gardner Minshew is interesting, and so is Brock Bowers because their matchups are beautiful against the tight end. I think the Panthers are the worst. So, or maybe the Chiefs. I think Panthers are second worst. I think it's a Zamir game, and I think Dalton throws for a hell of a lot of props here. I think he throws for over 35 attempts, 40 attempts in this game. You're not going to – the run game has been absolutely terrible for Carolina. Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard, you can just – it's ugly.
I'm offended, sir. I'm triggered and I'm offended. And yeah, I want to say this. It's the Red Rifle, not the Red Rocket.
I like the Rocket.
I know you do. I know you like Red Rockets because that's a dog's erection. That's what it looks like. It looks like a little alien pecker, and no wonder why you like them. You big weirdo. Kidding. Just being a jackass. So I think this is the Gardner Minshew game. I know you guys are both talking about Red Rockets. This is the Gardner Minshew game. Everything's screaming. This is a great matchup for Gardner Minshew. I like his passing touchdowns. I like his. I don't like the passing attempts. I don't like the passing completions, but I love the passing yards. I think there's good opportunity there. This is also, I love a Zamir White performance here. I think, like if we're to talk about the Bryce Young situation, just take a moment here. I don't think Bryce Young is bad at football. I think what we've seen has been bad football from the Carolina Panthers and Bryce Young since he's part of that team. We are putting way too much expectation on young quarterbacks right away. If we look at like the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably, which is Patrick Mahomes, what did we see out of him his first year?
Bro, Peyton Manning style, same thing.
No. Like his first year, he did not get thrown into the fire. Alex Smith was the starting quarterback. He didn't see his
came in
first
late,
start.
right? Like week 15.
Yeah, he didn't see his first start until the last game of the season when they had a playoff spot. And he put up a ridiculous amount of numbers, but he had to wait a year to learn the game. We saw the same thing with Jordan Love. We saw the same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Like some quarterbacks will absolutely fail when you throw them into the fire. We saw that happen with 50, 60% of the quarterbacks who get drafted. Like recently, first round draft pick quarterbacks have all failed. But Bryce Young is just the most noteworthy one because it's the most recent, and they gave up a heck of a lot to get him.
So he played a whole season. Coming out 2 games after that is ugly. Yeah, he looks good. It looked bad, bro.
But like he hasn't had a chance to learn and be a pro. He got thrown into the fire, and he's been taking, a bunch of licks, and he hasn't been able to just learn from a good pro about how to make the right read within that offense, right? And I think Andy Dalton is a great player to show that, and I think this is the best case scenario for Bryce Young this season is to learn football from Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton is a great play right now, but future-wise, I think Bryce Young is absolutely spectacular. I think we need to give Bryce Young a little bit of grace because he was thrown into a very terrible situation. With that being said, the one player that I like from Carolina, still going with my guy, Miles Sanders. They're going to need to run the ball a little bit more. It only makes sense. He's been the more exciting player to watch. I don't know if you guys watch much tape there, but out of the 2 running backs, he's been the more exciting player to watch. There's a bunch of like you're about to but it never happens. Yes, it
He
just
looks good. He does.
Yeah, I just
Chuba had a good average last game though.
Yeah, for sure, but like it just was boring. It was just
eye test.
Yeah. But so like Sanders is ready to break, and if there's any opportunity, that's a good opportunity. It's this one against a defense that gives up quite a bit of yardage and production to the running back position. With that being said, let's talk any props or things that you guys like in this game. I'm not touching it. I like the White rushing yards, receiving yards. And Miles Sanders, 1.5 receptions. That's a tough one, but I like the 24.5 rushing yards as well. Other than that, like maybe Jacoby Myers. Like I don't see this being a Devontae game. I think this is either Jacoby Myers.
Michael Mayer is nice.
Brock Bowers. Michael Mayer over 9.5 receiving yards was free money last week, like we called, and it's probably free money again this week as well. So yeah, I think good call there, Sleaze. Michael Mayer 9.5 receiving yards. Sleezeball's lock. I'm going to tell that one, and then I'm also just not touching anything else. I don't like.
I mean, Brock Bowers over 47.5 receiving yards, averaging 8.5 targets per game. Like that's crazy for a rookie. I know he's drafted really high, but 47.5 receiving yards. I think that's a smash, man.
Yeah, but you got to look at that. Like both those games are trailing heavy, so that's why like Gardner Minshew, second leading passer in the NFL, second highest completion percentage. He's look good, but they're passing heavy in those games because of game script. I don't like it this week.
I don't know. I think the Red Rocket comes in here and puts up points, man. I think they're going to be trailing.
For what it's worth, despite game scripts for Carolina being trailing, even though they got absolutely dominated the first 2 games, the tight end position on average gets 7.5 targets per game there, and they get 5.5 receptions per game there as well, and 52 receiving yards. So literally every statistical category for
Bowers is a smash.
Is an absolute smash. But I also think, if we're just looking at Michael Mayer, like 1 target on average, his average yardage per target that he's received is over 12.5 yards. It's been a smash every week, and it's going to continue to be a smash. That's another one where it's like, I like this one and the Bo Nix completions pretty much every week. Like those are two great props to tail together because they just always fucking hit, right?
And if Michael Mayer's at 9 and all those stats are there, Michael Mayer should be the absolute lock.
Yeah. It should be. It should be. But like he doesn't get a lot of targets. He just, when he does get his targets because people are finally like, fuck, Brock Bowers is killing us. Let's go to this guy. Then yeah, it smashes, and it usually smashes in the first half. Anything else we want to talk about this game, fellas?
Zamir White coming out party. That's it.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. Notice how I didn't talk about it much because I don't want to fucking jinx it.
And I know someone mentioned in the chat too about I forgot, I lost it somewhere, but it was about Troy Aikman. It was I think Andrew said something about the records, and Troy Aikman also had good too. But we got to remember Troy Aikman, he's 6'4". Bryce Young's 6 inches shorter than him, right? I mean, trust me, I know what 6 inches is. So like I know that. From what I hear, I don't know.
Wait, what?
I just think things
just get weird. It's always man meat with this guy. Fisting and man meat.
Weird, man. But no, I just don't think he can see over the line of scrimmage. I don't think he can read through his progressions. I think him and Troy Aikman's completely different atmospheres, man. But that's just me. I just saw that in the chat. So
yeah, I'm trying to see where it says that. Wonder what the props are for Max Crosby. Very well could eat in this one. That's a good one. Bryce Young started 2-16, and another quarterback started 3-15 in his first 18 starts and turned out okay. His name's Troy Aikman. Andrew N with the knowledge bomb. Great call, Bengal. Look at these beautiful minds.
Different being in the Cowboys team to the Panthers team, though. I hear you.
I mean, they were
Emmitt Smith there.
They were in very similar positions. Like they're going to have another high draft pick this year. I think to sit and learn is the best case scenario for Bryce Young this year. And like a lot of people are treating it as a negative.
I will take any bet right now that Bryce Young is not the quarterback next year for the Panthers.
I heard a rumor that he could possibly be traded to Miami to take over for Tua.
But I mean, Rip said it best. Like that, like you're not going to pay Tua all that money and then pay incredible draft capital for a Bryce Young after you just paid a bunch of money and you're like on the line for that. Just sit and wait for Tua. Tua says he's back. Look at these beautiful minds. Shout out to James Saw. James, we love you. Jennings, Myers, Gus. I'm going Jennings, Myers. Gus is an afterthought, and it's a tough matchup right now. Hello, Andrew. Hello, sir. Are we buying Deontay? I just sold him. I took it and run. I bought Swift very low with that bum. Lamar, Barkley, JT, Adams, Evans, Andrew taking down the Battle Royale. There you go. I have 0 lineups this week in that. Which Raider player is not going to hit?
I don't like Tay this week.
I'm not going to say I don't like him, but I think I like Jacoby Myers more than I like Devontae this week. So I'm kind of going with
Zamir
that.
White.
Sorry?
Zamir White.
Oh, okay. This guy is
when Zamir White outscores Alvin Kamara.
Sounds like you see in both of their faces denying. They're like, "Oh my God, we regret everything inviting this guy on the show."
No. I'm saying like okay. Based off of what's going on in best ball right now, not like a few things that you said have hit. It's like literally you've been 100% correct based off of where you are so far this season. I cannot argue anything that you've said because like all I have is theory and potential. Whereas like right now, if we're looking at like actual validation, you are the only person on the planet who is 100% right on anything and everything he said. So like I'm not going to argue with you because like it's all potential with Zamir White. I'm just hoping that it pans out because right now you're the $500,000 guy and I'm the guy who doesn't even have a team in the top 1,000 yet.
Except A.T. Perry and Javon Baker. Well, come on, guys.
But hey, you said super robust bully running back is the move and it's paying off. And I said there's no fucking way in hell. I said that's impossible. I said that's not a possible situation. And like elite tight end, bully tight end, elite quarterback, a combination of both. zero RB, hero RB. It's all garbage. It's all garbage. You've been 100% right. I'm just like I'm going to concede that as of 2 weeks, you are absolutely right. I'm
You'll be
hoping
above me at the end. Don't worry.
I'm hoping that there'll be a situation where I can be happy with my calls. Raiders Minshew doubles took down 2 on. I have no idea what you're saying there, buddy. God bless you. Clip that. The 6 inches clip is hilarious. It's right up there with the man, mate. Bryce Young just looks bad as he. I mean, yeah, it's a tough situation for him for sure. Zamir White 20 carries this week. It's a possibility. Does drafters have a carries prop for him? I mean, I would be contrarian. Whatever you bet on Zamir White, bet on Madison as well. You know what I mean? Like, stagger it if that makes sense. Because one of them is going to smash. John, you better be right. Yeah, that'd be good, man. Shout out to John. Appreciate the sub. Yo, Bayou in first place. Yes, he is, Tomsky. It's a fucking beautiful thing, man. Honestly, it's great. Shit's rigged. No, man, it's not. It really isn't. He made his bet. He decided to stand out against the rest of the 180,000 other competitors, and it's worked out for him. And good for him. Good for him. He made his bet, and he was right. He wanted to go against the grain and the norm, and it's working. White looks timid and straight up when he's running through the tough hole. That's what she said. Hi all. What's up, Jerry? Mr. Worldwide. I'm kidding. Love you, buddy. Gifted. Oh, shit. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, Sleezball. Very generous of you. Sorry, I've been I didn't miss y'all. It's been feeling rough. Well, I'm glad you took the time to make it here with us, buddy. I appreciate you stopping by and saying hi. Obviously, family and life first, but thank you for spending your time here with us. All right, we good to move on to the next game?
Yes, sir.
All right. Next game, we got the Miami Dolphins, who are 4.5-point dogs coming into Seattle. The over-under is 42. Who wants to go first on this one?
I can go first. That's fine.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is one of those games that, oh man, it could really be dominant. And if Tua was playing, this would be so good, right? So if I had to take one takeaway from Miami, is I'm staying away from Waddle. I hate to say that, but I am. I don't think that. I don't think they get the play that they need to be fantasy relevant. If you're taking a flyer, it's obviously Tyreek Hill. He could take a 1-yard hitch route to the house any given play. If you're taking like just a flyer at this point, the biggest storyline of this game would be Zach Charbonnet. But like I was kind of alluding to before, is that to me, Zach Charbonnet hasn't shown that he belongs as the bell cow back, right? I don't know. To me, he doesn't pass the eye test. I don't think he runs very well. But if he's going to do anything, it's going to be this week against the Dolphins team, who's given the 27th. They rank 27th in most fantasy points to opposing running back. So the stage is set right now, right? They're very good against quarterbacks, both teams. They're very good against wide receivers, both teams. It's got to be a running game, right? So if there's a game that Charbonnet is going to put his stamp on the map, it's going to be this game. For one, I don't have a lot of faith in Zach Charbonnet whatsoever. But I do like Achane. As far as the last I looked, I don't think Mostert's playing, but you guys can correct me. I'm not sure if he is or not.
He's out.
Is he out? Yeah. So this is going to be Achane. He is catching the most passes. He's rushing a crazy amount. I think it was over 20 carries a game. I haven't looked up that stat line, but I'm pretty sure he ran a lot. And he's so small. This is one thing I'm saying. Look, I was wrong. I'm going to say, I'm humbly saying I was wrong about Achane. I made so many videos on my channel saying, do not draft this guy. He's an undersized guy who gets hurt way too much. And this dude is now running bell cow type usage. Like he's 6'1", 225 pounds, and he's doing great. And then he's catching the ball in the backfield. So smash play Devon Achane. I think right now there's a prop on drafters. When I looked this up, it was 28.5 receiving yards. I still think I don't care who the quarterback is, 28 yards receiving with Devon Achane, that is a complete smash. Set and forget it. But yeah, I like Achane a lot here, and I don't really like too much else, to be honest with you.
Okay, Sleazimus Decimus Meridius, you're up. Yeah, it's still 28.5 receiving yards by you.
Can I say one more thing? I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut off. So I do have some stats here I want to throw out for Zach Charbonnet, why I had that stand for him. So Zach Charbonnet, he's got a prop right now, 66.5 yards. Rushing, I have that's under. I think that last week he averaged 2.7 yards per carry on 14 carries for 38 yards. And in week 1, he had 1.5 carries on 8 carries for 12 yards as well. So I know he was playing, but I'm just looking at his yards per carry. He's not getting the yardage for the opportunity that he's getting. I mean, if you're averaging 1.5 and 2.7 yards per carry, it's just like, come on, bro. You got to do something. This is the week he has to do it. But that's why I wanted to throw out there. His yards per carry is really atrocious right now.
I like it. Sleaze, take it away.
Oh, man. I mean, this is screaming bet $100,000 on it right now. Is Skylar Thompson under 194 passing yards here? The Seattle defense is allowing the third least passing yards, or tied for second, at 128.5. Mike McDonald, coming from Baltimore, has a new secondary system rolling over there. The new young corners look great. And I know you have Tyreek and Waddle, but I mean, if like I'm listening to Michael Ripp, who was on your show earlier, shout out to him. He's like, dude, Skylar Thompson's the worst quarterback you've ever seen. And then you were like, well, he gave us that great playoff game, which was a good point as well. I just don't like it going into the 12th man at all, and anything on the Dolphins side besides Achane. I am interested in 13.5 from Jalen Wright as well. I think he's going to see more playing time here with Wilson banged up also. So I think you're going to see like the 2 electric backs from Miami in this game be a lot more involved than you think, because it was his first game last week. So I really, really like that one as well to go along with Achane receiving. I think that's an absolute lock. Seattle side here, I'm at DK. Ramsey. You gave me the stat yesterday that he beats him on his career. I still think this is going to be like an ugly game here on the Dolphins side, and game script is going to tilt towards Seattle. So Charbonnet's rushing is interesting, but Bengal had a great point as well. His yards per carry is like Rashad White. It's terrible. So he's not electric like Kenneth Walker. He can't get outside. He's north and south like Gus Edwards. And he did very well in the receiving game though last week. I have to give him that. So I like him as a start just because game script here, but I've never really been a Charbonnet high on him fan. I would say the interesting outlier tertiary play here is going to be Jonnu Smith, because Hunter Henry just lit up the Seattle Seahawks with 12 targets last week. And now you have Skylar, who is going to be looking for a security blanket. They're probably going to be on Waddle and Hill. And I love all of Jonnu Smith's props this game, because he went from 20% to 40%. He's getting acclimated with Mike McDaniels in the system, and I think he's an absolute smash play this week as well.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned Jalen Wright, too. The reason why I stayed away from that prop, too, is he ran 18. I think it was 18 out of 76 snaps, and 10 of those 18 snaps came in the fourth quarter after the Bills was already shellacking these guys, and they wanted to carry. And the coaches said they have no intentions of lighting up Achane's workload. So that just scares me that there's only 8 snaps he had before it got out of hand. So
he wouldn't even have gotten those snaps if Wilson wasn't hurt either.
True.
So I mean, now you have both the old guys are out. It's gonna be fun to see the electric duo, man. It is.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
But they have no freaking quarterback, so I mean, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Sleezeball, get out of my head, because breaking down the numbers, not only did Hunter Henry have great production, but we also saw good production when there was a plus matchup for Jonnu Smith last week against the Buffalo Bills. He's coming into one of the better matchups against the fifth worst defense against defending the tight end position in terms of allowing targets. So there's at least 8.5 targets on average per week against the Seattle Seahawks. So that's a plus matchup there for Jonnu Smith. And then you're also looking at receptions. This is the sixth worst defense, where they allow 5.5 receptions on average to the tight end position. So I think Jonnu Smith, 20.5 receiving yards. I think that's an absolute smash. And then I'm looking at Zach Charbonnet, and that this is another play that I think makes a heck of a lot of sense. If we're looking at just the receiving production for running backs in general, the Dolphins allow 3.5 targets per week, 2.5 receptions, and less than 20 receiving yards to the position. So I'm going for the under in terms of receiving yards for Zach Charbonnet. And I'm smashing that. Those are the only 2 props I like in this game. I think
you don't like Achane receiving?
I love Achane receiving, but I like it too much. I like it too much. There's so many things that can happen. I think the one outlier that we don't know if we can trust or rely on, we need more information on, is Tua's no longer there. It's Skylar Thompson. So it's
I
not
know that's the tough part.
It's not something I'm willing to bet on currently. So I need more information on Skylar Thompson. I did like him, and I still have the Finns winning this game. But yeah, let's catch up with the chat. Mr. We both answered, Sleezeball and I both answered Mr. Magic in the chat here. Who has a better week, Anthony Richardson or Jaden Daniels? Sleeze and I both said Jaden Daniels. Bayou, who do you think?
Sorry, I was betting because you guys start saying some really cool crap, and then I forget, and I'm starting doing all these bets. What was the question?
Jaden Daniels or Anthony Richardson, who has a better week?
Anthony Richardson, man. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people do not agree with it, but I think this is a game where he has to be the guy. He has to. I just think it's there's no analysis behind it. I think he has to be the guy. I'm going AR. I have him in Dynasty and redraft too, so I have to have him.
But you need to stop apologizing for having a point and insight, because like clearly you've gone against the grain and it's worked. So people, when Bayoubengal speaks, you guys need to listen. If you have not watched his videos, they're very great. And if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you go subscribe to Bayoubengal, and make sure you subscribe to my guy Sleezeball as well. Both incredible content creators, and I'm very honored and blessed to have both of you up here with me on the panel and for the show. I know it's a great watch for the audience, and you guys are bringing your fucking A game, and thank you guys for sticking around for so long, honestly. Andrew N says Zamir prop 61.5 rushing yards, 4.5 long rush, 9.5 receiving yards. I think the receiving yards is an absolute smash. He's averaging 2 receptions per game. And those were against tough matchups. JD5, JD all day. Andrew, we smashed his Zamir props. Gino, pocket presence has been impressive, holding his jock while he throws dots. I like that, Bing King. Lutomsky says, imagine you had Jordan Mason on that team by you. Top team with zeros from CMC. I would like to. I was checking in with props for him. Appreciate that. Bowers, 2 TDs and 1 rushing, says Lutomsky. Interesting. Book it. I'm gonna start that.
Bowers is special, man.
Peanut butter jelly time. What's up? Geno Smith is a solid play. Yeah, I don't hate the play for Geno, but I want to say that like Jonu is one of my favorite DFS plays this week. So Sleaze, get out of my fucking head. Andy Dalton about to crush. He might. I haven't made a single DFS lineup with him, but after what both of these guys,
I'm gonna go out there and say that Jalen Wright is a lock at 13.5. It's an absolute lock.
I'm struggling. I don't know who to play, Ty Chandler, Jalen Wright, or Joshua Palmer as my flex, with both Cooper Kupp and Evan Ingram now out. Who has better D on paper, Steelers or Browns? Pause, but I'm going with the Steelers. It's harder.
What's close? Yeah, Steelers are like this, and Browns like that. So
there's a Brown D and hard as steel D.
With how Watt looks right now, you got to give him the edge. I think he's playing better than Miles.
Right, keep going.
Yeah. Man, people are not giving Patrick Queen enough credit. He looks incredible on that defense. DK Metcalf, anytime TD. I like that as well, John. Good call. HN and Wright could be disgusting, even without keeping. Well, I have 0 Mostert, but I also don't have a lot of HN. I have a heck of a lot of Jalen Wright pretty much everywhere. Best ball, redraft, you name it. That's the guy I invested on in general. I like John Smith too. I like you, John. God bless you. I got 5th in the Millie Maker once upon a time W. John, you better be right. Let's go. I agree. On A Rich, gonna smash.
Well, like he is nasty, man.
Yeah, I mean we've been doing all right on our pick'ems, but like last week we went 113 out of 125 on our single game props. So that was like my best week ever. So hopefully we can continue that.
Yeah, the only thing I'll slide to about that DK Metcalf, we have to remember he's gonna have Jalen Ramsey all over him. You know what I mean? Like one of the best corners in the league, and he struggled against Patrick Surtain. He's probably going to struggle against Jalen Ramsey too. So
BTJ just lit Ramsey up though, so I don't know if Ramsey's still in that elite category. It's up there, but I don't know if he's elite like Surtain.
Okay.
And D-Lot, that's game script though for the Raiders, man. They were behind 20 points in both games, man.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, but I agree. I'm not taking that bet. I didn't like it. If you guys look back, I did not say smash Samir. I kind of stayed quiet about it. Lutomsky game script is different this week, and I agree. Chances of Cup returning after the bye, hopefully, very high. Their bye week is week 6.
I don't remember.
Yeah, the Rams? Yeah, 6.
Yeah, week 6. Okay.
I have 9,000 shares of Cup. I know it's freaking bye week. God damn it.
I think I'm very close to the shares. All right, we're almost wrapping it up. We got 3 more games on the main Sunday slate. If you guys wanted to stick around for Sunday Night Football and the 2 Monday Night Footballs, I would love that. But if you got a jet, I understand because it's very big ask in terms of your time. So I appreciate you guys staying tough. Who went first last time? Was that Sleaze or was that Bayou?
Bayou took it last time. I'll take it down here.
We got the Baltimore Ravens, 4:25 p.m. Eastern time. They are 1-point favorites coming into Dallas. The over-under is 47.5. Sleaze, what do you like? What do you dislike? Let us know.
Open up your drafters account right now. Use code DISCO. Sign up. Drop $100 in there. Get a bonus of $100. Take that money right now and put it on Ezekiel Elliott, Dowdle, and everybody under the rushing in this game. The Ravens defense allows 45 yards in 2 games on average. 45 yards. They're not going to get a single freaking thing running this game. It is going to be the Jake Ferguson game. But again, Disco, you had great points yesterday when I was like, well, all the numbers point to the tight ends having a great matchup here, right? Because Brock Bowers just exploded. But I didn't look into it or where he was lined up or how they used him in that. I saw I had 4 screens going, so I saw half the game there. But I think Jake Ferguson still, when he went against Cleveland, he had 5 targets in a quarter and a half. I think he's going to be a smash play. I like all of his props. I think CD is going to explode in this game because they're not going to be able to run the ball for shit. I like Dax over because I think they're going to have to pass heavy once again. And on the Ravens side, man, I was definitely wrong about Zay Flowers. I have to say that. I wasn't high on him in the draft. I wasn't high on him in best ball. And he's a target machine. He is the number 1. He's got 10-plus targets in both games. I don't like the Isaiah Likely outlier week 1 that everyone was hyped on. I still don't think he's the guy, but we'll see how that goes. I mean, he's more athletic, yeah. But Bateman's been surprising too as well. I mean, I was out on Bateman, and he's been decent. He's I think he's hit both his props back to back, by the way, with receiving yards. I think he had like 40 or 50 and 50, and his props were like 26 and 28. So he's interesting as well in a game here where the Cowboys will have Diggs on, CD. Or sorry, the Ravens will focus on CDs. Or I'm doing it wrong. They'll focus on Zay because he's been the target guy, and Mark Andrews. So he's an interesting outlier play for me as well because he's been crushing his props. And I like the man. If the Ravens go 0-3, man, or the Cowboys go 1-2, this is a big game on both franchises. I think I'm taking the Ravens to bounce back here. I don't think the Cowboys are for real.
Bayou.
No, yeah, I completely agree. This is going to be – I don't think the Ravens, with all the hype with Derrick Henry coming over, Super Bowl contenders, right? That's what everybody was saying. Super Bowl contenders, they're not going to go 0-3. They can't do it. They won't allow it. Lamar Jackson won't allow it. Even the prop is like 218 last I checked. 218.5 passing yards for Lamar Jackson. He goes well over that. This is going to be a great game for Derrick Henry. I think this is the game that we're going to see Derrick Henry finally come alive. The Cowboys can't stop anybody on the ground, and I know those numbers are skewed because Alvin Kamara went absolutely ham sauce on him. But I think Derrick Henry can get some stuff going on the ground as well. I think Lamar Jackson goes absolutely bananas. And on the flip side, I like CeeDee Lamb's prop as well. I think last I checked was 83.5, might be a little higher than that by now, somewhere in there. But CeeDee Lamb's going to have a great game. I like Dak as well. I don't like the running game for Dallas. That's just an absolute ugh. And I think Ferguson has a good chance of having a decent game too. I think he's going to be back healthy this week. So I like a lot of players from this team. I think again, like Sleaze was saying, this is going to be devastating for one of these teams, whether it's the Cowboys or whether it's the Ravens. Either way it goes, I just think the Ravens are going to absolutely blow off the top, and I think Lamar Jackson is going to be a big reason why they do so. So that's my takes.
You think he's going to go over the passing with the Cowboys shoving versus run?
I do. I think they're going to be I think it's 218. I don't know if it's still 218.5 for Jackson.
216 right now, which is lower.
216. Oh yeah. See, I bet at 218 still over. But yeah, I think he's going to clear that, man. I think he'll clear it.
The only every point that you guys have made is absolutely excellent, but the only bet I look at and I say this is a smash, this is easy. All numbers and stats are showing that this is like the easiest.
Aubrey,
funny. No, 12.5 receiving yards for Justice Hill.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That is literally free fucking money. Okay, if we're looking at the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to what they allow against the running backs when it comes to receiving targets. There's 7 receiving targets per game to the running back position against the Dallas Cowboys. That's the 7th best opportunity, most advantageous opportunity for running backs this week. If we're talking about receptions, the Dallas Cowboys are the 11th most advantageous matchups with 5 receptions per game. If we're talking about receiving yards to running backs, we're talking about 55 receiving yards to the running back position. That is the 3rd most advantageous matchup for running back this week. We know Derrick Henry is not going to really get involved in the receiving game. Justice Hill, time in and time again, has been involved in that. I think he does it in the first quarter on the first 3rd and long, and it's fucking free money. It's as free as fucking money gets. I fucking love it. This is a Derrick Henry smash game. It's a plus matchup for both Isaiah Likely and for Mark Andrews. I think both of them are going to smash, and I think Baltimore dominates. I said this before, and I'll say it again. Dallas is bad this year. Everybody's like, oh, Mike Zimmer did a great job against Deshaun Watson. You know what? The New York Giants did a pretty good job against Deshaun Watson, too. Deshaun Watson sucks. He's terrible.
True.
I got one to throw in here.
Wait. We didn't even play each other yet. So no, the New York Giants didn't do a good job. The Jacksonville Jaguars did a good job against the New York Giants, or against Deshaun Watson. But yeah, go ahead.
Dude, what I was really plugged into that game, and the Jalen Tolbert hype in the preseason I was kind of listening to. He looked fucking good, man. The catch he made in traffic with 2 men on him. He had 9 targets. He might have taken the job from Cookster. He looks way more athletic, and he played 86% of the snaps compared to 60% the week 1. I know they were down in the game, right? So the game script says let's use more, but I mean, he looked good when he was out there. He's kind of an interesting prop to me. If you think the Ravens are going to blow him out, like everyone here is saying, right? And they're playing from behind, you have to love his 20. Or I lost the prop. I think it's like 24.5 yards.
Yeah, I mean, 86% snap share in week 2 is
29 yards. Sorry.
86% snap share in week 2 is a very encouraging sign for Jalen Tolbert. I think you might be onto something. I'm not willing to personally bet on it because I only like things that are like complete outliers. But like I think there's
well, that'd just be my tertiary call for him.
Yeah, Justice Hill's my tertiary call for sure.
I think that's a lock.
Ben King says, hey, if you draft a battle royale, take Adams in the first. The rest falls nicely. Heard. Even the last 3 games, though, averaging 19.5 rush attempts per game. Zamir isn't as advertised. Latomsky, we've been saying it's going to be a week 6. Like we're going to see improvements until week 6, and that's where he becomes a top 5 RB that we project him to be. I hope I'm right. Zay Flowers is the real deal. He has sweet feet. I don't think you're wrong here, man. I bet against him and I was wrong. Ravens are 5-1 all time versus Cowboys. That's a great stat that I didn't know, John. Thank you for that. Are the Colts the faves this week? Yeah, they're the favorited to win by 1. I think taking the Bears to cover the spread is free money. And DeAndre Swift over rush yards, also free money. John Flowers is the man in Baltimore. Bye. Yeah, man. Justice Hill money. I agree, John. Keaton Mitchell, a midseason hammer. Might be. Do we like the Packers spread too? What's up, fellas? Says Jack. PPR, flex Sutton or Shakir. I'm going Shakir. All right, Sleaze, I saw your hand up. Sorry, I just need to catch up with the chat because
Sutton can go to your wire. Here you go, Bengal. I'll bet you 5 gifted right now that Zamir White has more points than Alvin Kamara this week.
What, half PPR, full PPR, what?
Anything you want. Half PPR.
I mean, everything we're doing is full PPR right now. Let's just keep it full PPR.
Yeah, full
That's
PPR.
fine.
Yeah, dude, that's 100%. You can lock and load that. There's not even a shot Zamir White gets close to that. Are you kidding me?
There we go.
That kind of came out of nowhere. I like it. So I fucking like it. 5 gifted. All right.
Get ready.
Dude, trust me.
Mr. Magic says, do we like the Packers spread too?
Mm-hmm.
Depends, right? If I'd like it if Jordan Love's playing. We don't have that information, and surely the spread will change if Jordan Love does play. So yeah, I don't know. Dak is 11-3 after a loss at home last 3 games. Take that bet. Yeah, I don't like as I said, week 6 is kind of like my buffer for Zamir White. That's the grace period I gave him all offseason. So he's like one of my favorite buy low targets right now, but like it just might bite me in the ass. All right. You guys ready to move on to the next game, or is there anything else that you guys want
Oh
to
no,
talk
I
about?
just wrote that down. That's
Oh, it's 10 gifted on my side. Yours are $2.99. I forgot. So it'd be your 5 to my 10.
What are you talking about?
I said yours are $2.99, mine are $1.99. So it's 10 to 5.
$2.99, $1.99. Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
There you go. Yeah, that's fine. I like it, dude. Watch it, man. I'm telling you. Everyone's on the running back one for Kamara. Watch Samir come out and drop 25.
Historically, anatomical adaptation for top 5 running backs who come from how at the duck race where it's like at the beginning of the duck race everybody comes up fast but ends up slow, and the guys who are at like the back or around the middle kind of, it's the same thing. Anatomical adaptation is just the science of quality reps. The offensive line has not gotten their anatomical adaptation kicked in. Neither has Zamir White. I think when we see battered defenses as the weather gets colder with his physical style of football, Zamir White is going to pop off after week 6. And historically, if we look at all the anatomical adaptation data, if we look at all the historical data of running backs who didn't start off as a top 10, 15 running back, but finished as a top 5, week 6 is the buffer. That's why we're going with week 6. Duck race metaphor. Love it. That was not a shot at Bayoubengal. I hope he holds. All right, next game. We got the San Francisco 49ers. Sleaze, this is your team, so you got to take this away. 4:25 p.m. Eastern time. The 49ers are 6.5-point favorites coming into Los Angeles versus the Rams. The over-under is 43.5. Talk to me, Papa.
This is like the Vince Papale invincible football game right here with how many injuries that are out here for both sides of the team. You have no Puka, no Cup, no Debo, no Kittle, no CMC. Jordan Mason is my running back 1. I like every single prop of his over 98. I don't care if it's over 120. I would take it. He's going for 150 yards. The Rams defense is giving up 197 yards versus the run, and they are also giving up just 229 versus the pass, both in the top 7 or top 8. Their defense is beat up. Their offensive line is in shambles. Kyron Williams is going to be a rough play here coming up for the next couple of weeks. I mean, I don't like him in any props. I know he's going to see the usage. The interesting play here that I'd like for the Rams in this game is that you got to see Jordan Whittington come in and play the Cooper Kupp role. They've already announced now during the week that he's going to be playing the Cooper Kupp role, and he played 62% of the snaps from the slot, and that is the Niners' weak point. We've given up 2 touchdowns to the slot already. I think it's number 1 or something for the first 2 games. So I think he's going to feast, and I love all of his props as well. So if I had to lock in 2 props I like the most, it's Jordan Mason yards and or Whittington receiving yards and receptions. I think it's like 3.5. I think he crushes that. I think that's going to be done in the first half, by the way, with Jordan Whittington. And I'm going to be interested to see 2 of the greatest offensive minds, how they work with no weapons. That's one of my favorite things coming from this game, is to see what they can do without any of their stars out there.
But what did you say Mason's average was at receiving? Because that's one that I think is like the lowest possibility. So I gotta play this.
10.5 receiving.
I gotta play this. All right, sorry. Hold up. What did you just say? I'm gonna need you to stand on business. You said you like Jordan Mason over 3.5 receptions. Why?
No. I said Jordan Whittington.
Oh, Jordan Whittington. Okay, fuck.
I don't like Mason receiving at all. No.
I just wasted my stand on business. I apologize. All right, Bayou, you're up, Buttercup.
Yeah. I think this game is gonna be a lot closer than what people think. I think it's gonna be a really close game. I love Jordan Mason. I think he hits his prop of 94.5 rushing yards, but I don't think it's crazy because I think Brock Purdy and Matthew Stafford both go over theirs. People may not know the 49ers are going to be missing Bosa and Ward, their cornerback, as well. And even though they don't have a lot of weapons over there, Demarcus Robinson, Whittington, all this, I think it's good enough for Matthew Stafford to get over the 215 prop that he's got. I think Brock Purdy hits over 227, his prop. I think, whether it's Jawan Jennings or Brandon Ayuk, I think they got the weapons out there to get the things done. I think it's going to be a little bit back and forth. It's going to be a lot closer, and maybe even a field goal separates these two. So there's going to be a lot of passing in this game with a lot of Jordan Mason there as well. The Rams defense, they can't stop anything. It's like completely flowing hot diarrhea over there. Everything's flowing all over their face, and they can't stop it. So there's no Pepto bottle in this world that's going to stop this kind of flow. It's
quite the visual.
Hey, is Nick Bosa ruled out?
I think he's ruled out.
I thought it was questionable game time decision.
I'm pretty sure he's not going to play. He's done. Done.
Shout out to Al Paul, by the way, coming in. Al Paul finished 14th in the Drafters Million 2 last year. He says, still early on, but Bayou out here killing the tournaments. Best of luck to everyone moving forward. Class act, Al Paul. Shout out to him. Mr. Magic said, Alexander Madison over Zamir White. Okay. If Mason doesn't get 200 yards this week, I'm going to be stunned. Interesting, says that's from James. John says, I have Purdy and JD5 in my fantasy league. Who would you start? I think they both have really good matchups. I'm going JD5 just for the rushing upside. But if there's points, like if it's a premium for passing touchdowns, I'm going with Brock Purdy, Mr. Productive. Jennings prop is currently...
I also like use checks receiving yards at 18. Now that I see it just popped up.
So right now, Juan Jennings is at 45.5 receiving yards, 3.5 receptions, 46.5 rushing and receiving, and his longest reception is 20.5. I would say that I don't love any one of them, but he's probably my favorite tertiary play in this. I think my favorite bet, like anytime there's a no Debo and no George Kittle, is Kyle Juszczyk, anytime touchdown. He's one of my favorite plays right now in DFS. Very cheap price because like we got to look at it this way. Like he's going to be utilized more as a tight end because Eric Saubert is borderline useless. I love Kyle Juszczyk for anytime touchdown. As for like the receivers, if I'm looking at, Whittingham, Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, Tyler Johnson, like I got to go with the guys who play the most. So I like DeMarcus Robinson and I like Tyler Johnson because I haven't seen anything out of Jordan Whittington playing the Cooper Kupp role. The Cooper Kupp role is like 100% of the snaps on the field. We have not seen that yet. But I like the under in this game. There's nothing else that I'm willing to really bet on in this game. Brandon Ayuk it should be a smash play, but is he going to smash? That's remained to be seen. 18.5 receiving yards for Juszczyk is interesting. Longest reception at 11.5, I think, is a lock. But other than that, I don't like this game. I don't like it a lot. I think Brock Purdy over 0.5 interceptions is interesting. But I just don't like this game. It's very ugly. It's tough.
What about dude, I think I love this one. Kyron Williams at 21.5 receiving. I think that's a lock.
What has this
no Cup, no Bosa, no Ward.
What has his average been?
Let me look at it. He is at 27 last game and 4 the first game, but played Detroit.
Yeah. Andrew N says Rams just gave up 41 to Arizona last week. Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. looked great. And I'm looking forward to talking about that matchup because that's a good fucking matchup. Flex, Keon Coleman, Christian Kirk, or Jaden Reed this week. I'm going to go ahead and say Jaden Reed versus Buffalo. Buffalo's shut down there. Keon Coleman versus Jacksonville. Jacksonville's very weak secondary, so Coleman might be the play here. Jaden Reed would be a smash any week if Jordan Love's healthy. So kind of got to play it by ear. If Jordan Love doesn't play, then it's got to be Keon Coleman, right?
Yep. He's got the big play possibility. Kirk's got a crowded wide receiver room. You never know if he's going to be the main man, and Coleman just has that opportunity to have that big play down the field. So you got to kind of roll the dice there.
Yeah. I like how I talked that out loud for you. I really thought about it, Andre. I really did. My preseason Heisman pick, Cam Ward, about to play. I got him a month ago at plus $1,500 odds, and Miami winning the national championship plus 6,000. If you know disco, you know that we love the U, baby. That's our. God bless you, John. We just met each other, but I feel like I fucking love you. Kyron Williams, 1 TD scorer. Yep. It's a good prop. Kyron is, fuck. Whatever the prop is right now for Fred Warner. Because, this is an offensive show. Most of the things we talk about, I want to say 99% of the things we talk about is offensive players. We talk about defensive opportunities and matchups, but very seldomly do we give credit where credit really is due. And that's Fred fucking Warner. He is so good. He's given so many defensive coordinators head coaching jobs. Pretty much every defensive coordinator San Francisco's had since he's been their starting middle linebacker has gotten a defensive coordinator job, and that's because he's a spectacular player. So anytime interception, like his interception prop to get a pick, I fucking love it. I don't know what the odds are, but I'm betting money on it. Kyron is catching for 4 to 5 out of the backfield. It's possible. Parkinson's prop currently. Here's the thing: tight ends struggle against this.
I'm not touching anything versus the 49ers at tight end.
So Colby Parkinson's prop is 31.5 receiving yards, 3.5 receptions, 14.5 for longest receptions. I would say I like the under on the receiving yards. Or actually, I like the under on the longest reception. Yeah. Who would you rather have? AK, Alvin Kamara, or Saquon? I mean, I'm going with Saquon. I know Bayou's going with Kamara, and I think Sleaze is going to stand on business and go with Saquon as well.
Tougher matchups, dude. The Eagles played 2 legit teams in a row.
Yeah. All right, Bengal, you're going to take this next one here. It is the hold on, I got to fix this. All right, we got the Detroit Lions, who are 3-point favorites despite getting walloped last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming into Arizona, where the Arizona Cardinals actually just dominated their divisional rivals, the Los Angeles Rams. So the Lions are 3-point favorites. The over-under is 51.5. The game is at 4:25 p.m. Eastern time. Tell me what you like and what you dislike about this game, buddy.
Yeah, this is, I think, about the big wigs, right? 2 big quarterbacks and the 2 big wide receivers, right? Jared Goff, Kyler Murray, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Marvin Harrison, maybe a little bit of Jameson Williams in there, but I think this is all about the passing. I'm staying away from all the running backs in this game. I just don't like the matchup for James Conner, Jahmyr Gibbs, or David Montgomery. I think it's going to be just a lot of passing, a close matchup. But I'm really liking myself. I want to see what Marvin Harrison does, kind of like as a caveat to his running up. Like, he had 4 catches, but those 4 catches, he had, I think, like a 60-yard bomb he had on one of those, and the other 3 were like for 90 yards or whatever. I don't remember what his target line was, but it's pretty good on like 4 catches. So I want to see what does he do. I want to see somebody like a Marvin Harrison have more opportunities than just Trey McBride out there getting himself 6 to 8 targets. I want to see Marvin Harrison get 7 catches and I want to see him get more involved for like a PPR type of guy. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, we saw him come back to earth last week after really having a really disappointing week 1 because Jameson Williams went complete ham-saw. So I think Amon-Ra St. Brown has a big game. I think Harrison has a good game. I love myself some Jared Goff, and I like Kyler Murray. But I'm more on the passing than anything on any of these games. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm staying away from the running game, though.
Sleazimus Decimus Meridius.
That Detroit front, man. It's going to have to be all the passing game here. I mean, if I'm looking at anything that the Lions have, they are allowing 76 yards as a team total on defense for rush yards. They're absolutely disgusting up front. I think James Conner is going to really struggle in the rush game here. I would take his under, and I think that's an absolute lock. I think the Detroit Lions have covered every single under for every running back so far. Jameson Williams, could I ever be wronger? If he does another one here, I'm going to really be like, Jesus, man, what's the deal here? Is this guy really just going to ruin Laporta's season like this? Like
a lot of
3 weeks in? So he looks electric. He looks good. He looks at the beginning of the game, I was like, is he going to be the wide receiver 1? And then they just force-fed Amon-Ra so many goddamn targets. It was crazy. But this is the best matchup of the week on paper for Amon-Ra. I think it's like plus 57% and plus 67% matchup for wide receiver. He should be crushed. Dude, his prop at 6.5 receptions is fucking gold. I think he's going to hit 12 or 13. I think he doubles that this game. But Marvin Harrison, I see everyone's riding this high train right here. McKinstry's not bad. I mean, he's out there as a rookie, or Kool-Aid McKinstry, however you say his name. It's going to be interesting out there. Rookie battle. That's something I'm going to be paying attention to.
But where's Kool-Aid McKinstry? Isn't he in New Orleans?
He is. Hello.
Oh, isn't no, that's the wrong guy. Who did they get the 23rd or whatever, 24th?
You're talking about last year, Branch?
No, the Lions. Am I blanking on the wrong guy? I think they drafted a corner.
Arnold. Terrion Arnold.
Terrion Arnold. He's been interesting. So I want to see the rookie corner battle matchup there. I said the wrong guy. My bad. It's fucking 3 hours in. And I would say I don't like Trey McBride in this game. I don't think it's going to be a Trey McBride game here.
Both tight ends, they're very good against the tight end, both teams. So
I know. So I'm kind of worried about a Laporte. I was going to, looking to see the matchup of 2 stud tight ends, but I don't think they're going to have as big as impact in this game. And I think Gibbs is going to go wild. Gibbs just looks like he's shot out of a fucking cannon. I'm such a Jahmyr Gibbs fan. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was going back and forth. Do I want Jahmyr Gibbs to be my RB1 or not this week? More often than not, I fall in the line of saying, like, if I do want to pay up option, especially in DFS, Jahmyr Gibbs is the guy I'm targeting. With that being said, I think he's an absolute smash this week. I think an absolute dud this week is going to be James Conner. It's a very tough matchup for him. I'm very curious about the Trey McBride situation because, yes, the Detroit Lions are very good against defending the tight end position per se, but where the Detroit Lions have been beat is where Trey McBride runs his routes. That is kind of like where he's living. So it's either going to be a Michael Wilson tertiary play, a Greg Dortch tertiary play, who's coming into this game banged up. I'm not sure if he's playing or not. Or it could be Trey McBride, who lives in that area and absolutely dominates. I think it's going to be a Trey McBride smash play, and I think Sam Laporte is also going to smash as well because he also lives in the area and plays in the area and dominates in the area where the opportunity is for the Arizona Cardinals right now. It's not necessarily a tight end thing. It's kind of like where the route trees and targets have come from, and that's where they both reign supreme. My issue with Trey McBride is the yards after catch is almost non-existent, whereas like Laporta, we need it. We need it bad. As the bully tight end king, I need this game. I fucking need it. This game is so important to me. It needs to happen.
Who are you taking to win this?
I'm taking the Cards.
Ooh, because Goff has not looked. Maybe he's not locked in, man.
I think he's Jared Goffel for a reason for me, right? I think Kyler Murray is going to have a spectacular week. Call of Duty's not out yet, so he's going to be all right. Lions Cards game is going to be a shooting gallery, says Mr. Magic. I like JMO a lot in DraftKings. I love the Lions to cover in that game. Jameson Williams rushing in TD, rushing TD. I love it. Scott Fishbowl scoring, Keontae Turman returner for the Cowboys, or Steele running back for the Chiefs. I'm not this man. I'm doing terrible.
I'm going Turpin there, bro, because I think the Ravens score a lot. He gets a lot of kick return opportunities.
Yeah, that's the fishy guy, not me. Redraft half point PPR. Should I start Whittington or Downs in the flex? I have A-Rich at quarterback. I like Downs more. I don't think this is the Downs week. It's a very tough matchup against a very formidable defense, and he's just coming back from a defense. So I would have to say Witt, but Josh Downs is criminally underrated. He is the glue that keeps the offense together. Bengal, who you got?
God, I'd probably say Downs, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not. I gotta say Downs. I think even coming back from the injury, again, I'm laying on AR, and I think he has to be good. And for him to be what he needs to be, he likes to target Downs a lot. He had full participation in practice. I just think he's going to be back to himself, and I think Downs will get it done. Whittington was the preseason darling, and he could obviously have a massive game. But if it's me, I'm probably going Downs.
I mean, everybody's looking for Puka Nacua to be reincarnate, but like I don't think it's going to happen. I think No Cap Max says I think Laporta might go crazy this game. They need him to get involved. I think they know. As a former tight end himself, Dan Campbell should be fucking ashamed of himself in this offense that they're putting out there, man. Like your smash mouth tight end, one of the best tight ends in football, who helps you win football games, is not being used. He's being used more as a blocker. The amount of routes he's running, it's fucking shameful. Dan Campbell, be better. Stop doing commercials and go back to coaching good football. God, my little brother is in a shallow league. He has to decide between James Conner and DJ Moore full PPR. What do y'all think? DJ Moore 100%. Not even close. All right, so that covers the day slate. We have one Sunday night football game, 2 Monday night football games that we could also cover. I won't blame you guys if you don't want to cover it and talk about it. I'm not personally prepared to talk about it and cover it. We've been live for over 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Greg Dulcich with more targets than Sam Laporta is ridiculous.
It's offensive. So I'm okay if we call this stream. Because we got a couple. Bio, you're live tomorrow before kickoff. Sleaze, you're live tomorrow before kickoff.
I think I'm actually going right into Sleaze because I'm like 9 a.m. and I think he is like, aren't you like 11:30? Eastern?
We go 7:30 to 9:30, so or 10:30 to 12:30. I forget that you guys are Eastern.
I'm Central, but I try to make everything Eastern for him. But
yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, I put in the private chat because I was like, my kids are begging me to go cook dinner.
Yeah, let's call it, guys. Honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This was an absolute great show. Shout out to NFL DFS picks. I know he wanted to be here. Hopefully, we can get him here moving forward. But Bengal, thank you for stepping in. Congratulations on all the success in the tournament. Well deserved. Sleezeball,
Good shit, man. I was wrong, man. I was like, that robust, man. Let's bite me in the ass right now.
Yeah, I mean, you and me both, the sister. Sleazeball, congrats on all the success on all of the YouTube content. You are pumping out content at an incredible rate, and it's showing. Community, thank you guys. This is the best community in fantasy football. I'll say this every fucking time. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for making not just my dream come true, but like every one of our content creators' dreams come true with your support, your questions, and just being good fucking people. Hopefully you guys got great advice. We'll give you guys some locks and some props tomorrow on both Bayoubengal show and Sleezeball show. Bayoubengal, make sure, guys, seriously, go give these guys a follow if you have not given them a follow. They are some of the
I was trying to drop the links in there, but I can't.
Yeah, there's some of the greatest names in fantasy football, some of the greatest people, and some of the greatest minds. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for rocking with us. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until next time, peace.